You know, Logan, this was, without a doubt, the most perfect night I've had in a very long time. But I don't deserve it, do I? I did something unspeakable. I've remembered what happened in Westchester. This is not the first time I've heard people. Until today, I didn't know. You wouldn't tell me. So we just kept on running away from it. I think I finally understand it.
Hey, what's going on, huh? You're with your pals, you made it.
Where will you go?
Nearest bar for starters. Hey, I got you here. That's all I signed up for. I even gave back the money.
Such a nice man.
Hey, I never asked for this, all right? Charles never asked for this. Caliban never asked for this. And they are 6 feet under the ground. Now, I don't know what Charles put in your head, but I am not whatever it is you think I am, okay? I only met you like a week ago. You got your Rebecca, your Delilah, your blah, 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 whatever. Everything you asked for, you've got it. And it is better this way. Because I suck at this. Bad shit happens to people I care about. You understand me?
Then I'll be fine.
In the near future, a weary Logan cares for an ailing Professor X at a remote outpost on the Mexican border. But his plan to hide from the outside world gets upended when he meets a young mutant who is very much like him. Logan must now protect the girl and battle the dark forces that want to capture her. Welcome to another feature presentation of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode we'll be covering 2017's Logan, directed by James Mangold.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Midnight Double Feature. This is a feature presentation episode of Logan. I'm your host, Zoheb, and that's Colin. Colin, how you doing, my man?
I'm fine, I'm doing good. Oh God, I love those noises. It's so awesome.
Dude, like that's just you just having sex, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
can you
I
cut
love
that
hearing
out?
those noises come out of a man. No, I'm doing well. I love watching Hugh Jackman do the audio for this. Did you ever see that video?
I have, yeah. It's
good.
Badass, dude. He's so
cool.
fucking into it, man. Before we dive right in, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on another episode of Midnight Double Feature. Like I said, this is our feature presentation episode where we go through the movie sequentially. We talk about it, we talk about the themes, talk about the funny stuff, talk about, we make shitty jokes. And in order to do that, we're going to be spoiling the movie. So if you haven't seen Logan, get the fuck out now. And what are you doing with your life if you haven't seen Logan?
Yeah.
Because, man... So we're going to be definitely spoiling the movie. We're also going to be talking about probably what the X-Men mean to us. This is our first X-Men movie, so
yeah.
let's dive into that for a little bit. And guys, if you're not already, please follow us on our socials. We're on Facebook, which is Midnight Double Feature. We're on we have our Facebook group as well, which is the After Party. There's some great stuff going on over there, and we're also on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDF Pod. If you have any requests for movies that you'd like to see us cover, please send us an email at midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. And probably most importantly, what we'd really appreciate is if you like what you're hearing, or if you don't like what you're hearing, let us know. And the way to do that is via leaving us a iTunes review. Please rate us on iTunes and write a review. We'd love to see what you guys think. That would be fucking awesome. All right, Colin, let's get into 2017's Logan, directed by James Mangold, dude. Hit me with your thoughts. This is your pick.
Yeah, right. I think this is the most modern fucking movie I've ever picked. No, I'm just kidding. I picked Bird Box.
I think it fucking might. Yeah, okay. Well, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah. I had Young Frankenstein in there. I had to kick it old school for a minute, but I picked this movie. What's to say about this movie that I mean, is there anybody that doesn't like this movie? I really struggle to like find somebody who, like, even though I know people who have problems with parts of it, it is still like a extremely well-made movie is what I've always heard. I've never heard anything really negative all around across the board, you know? It's like, what the fuck? It's crazy. I don't really have that experience from the movie, especially a superhero film. And this is not even really a superhero film. I don't think you can call it that, but it's like a super Western. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of got a weird feel. Like if this movie were a Fallout game, it would be Fallout New Vegas. You know what I mean? Like all those amber, all those amber kind of colored hues, and especially with him like driving in the car, and there's a lot of neon and stuff. He's driving around, I guess, in like Vegas at the beginning of this or whatever. But I absolutely love this movie. I think it's probably one of the best superhero quote unquote films ever made. I think it's probably one of the best films made in the last 20 years. I think it's definitely, outside of the genre in its own right, standing on its own film. As a film, because it's not so much, you can't just keep calling it a superhero film. It's so different from that. It's like a drama with superhero elements sprinkled in, you know? And something like this, it only comes along every once in a while. And I think that I very rarely say that on this podcast, because I think people throw that around too much. It's like the word amazing, like people just ruin the word amazing. Or just, any word in general, like cool. Like, it's just like such a lazy thing to throw out there. But I think something like this, all the cards have to be in your hand. All the stars have to be aligned. You've got Hugh Jackman about to retire. You got Patrick Stewart about to retire. You've got kind of a few shitty Wolverine movies in there. I know The Wolverine is not as bad as Origins, and we'll get into those, but you've got a lot of convoluted bullshit. And especially even now with Dark Phoenix coming out and it bombing, you've got a lot of bullshit going on with these movies, and you've got too many cooks in one kitchen. And then something like this comes along and just rips out of all that mess and just goes leaps and bounds in front of everything else. I can't find a goddamn thing wrong with this movie. There's maybe a few things, I think, with Dafne Keen that we can get into if you really want to put it under a microscope, but you're straining at this point. You're having to strain to find those things. I know I was, but all in all, I absolutely love this movie. A brief history on the X-Men. I remember going to see the original one in theaters with my dad. He was a big, like, OG, like, Marvel comics. Like, he was born in 49 or 48. So he was, like, growing up when these were coming out and shit. Like, he was my age when, like, Frank Miller was doing Wolverine and Daredevil and shit. Like, that's crazy to think about. But the cool thing was seeing that movie, we went and saw a bunch of, Daredevil, X2, X3, the Hulk, Ghost Rider. Like, we went and saw all those. And I can remember, I think the last one that we saw might have been Iron Man or the Hulk, the one with Edward Norton. That was the last one we saw. And unfortunately, he was sick. He passed away in 2012. But I know he would have fucking loved this movie. He was a huge Western fan. He loved John Grit. We had the Shoot Us and a bunch of shit like that at the house. But I've always thought about my dad when it comes to this movie of like an older person who's sick. And my dad even had that similar kind of beard at one point, like a full grown-up beard with a lot of like silver in it. And I was like, man, like even in the facial hair and stuff, they kind of like mirrored each other. So this movie's always meant a lot to me. And when I saw it, especially with the ending and how he dies, and I was like, man, this is really, I'm drawing a lot of parallels here. And it remains to be one of my favorite, I guess, quote unquote, superhero films of the genre. I think that it'll take a long time. The only thing that might be ahead of this is like The Dark Knight, maybe, but it's really it's apples to fucking tangerines in that they're two totally different films. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I'm just going to say it right now. It's a fucking like 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with this movie. I think it's a perfect movie. And I think it's about damn time that we fucking covered it, and especially getting into some X-Men. What about you? What's like your history with the X-Men and shit? Because Matt and I have talked about this a lot, but you and I haven't really talked about X-Men much.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it on the podcast quite a few times now. I'm not a comic book reader. I never was. It was never really my thing. Even though, lately I have been starting to read them a bit more and more. I think we talked about it on the Batman podcast, Batman Returns, actually. My history with X-Men It's solid. Like on screen, it's pretty fucking solid. So I actually remember, I can't remember what grade I was in. It might have been 3rd grade or 4th grade. I was not dialed into movies and shit back then, man. Like I was just like, oh, like I don't know. I was a little fucking snot-nosed little kid. But anyway, so I didn't even know that there was an X-Men movie out by that point in 2000. Like I was like, I remember distinctly talking to someone at school and they're like, yeah, X-Men is on TV tonight on Channel 7. And I'm like, what? The cartoon? Because I remember there being a cartoon. And they're like, no, there's a movie. And I was like, what? I remember going home that day and that night, like it was on and I was like, man, like this is a movie? This is so cool. They have powers and shit. Because don't forget, man, before Spider-Man, there was X-Men. Like the X-Men created this whole modern genre of superhero that we're in. You can argue Blade, for sure. You can argue Blade, but I don't think Blade really kind of hit the zeitgeist as much as X-Men did. I think it was just X-Men, and look, I hate to say it, Bryan Singer's X-Men just kind of like, you know, entered the realm and just fucking stole the show for a bit, man. Like, yeah, so I watched that first X-Men and I was like, damn, this is awesome. But I remember watching that X-Men and being like, I wish they did more with this. Like, it felt a little small scale. It felt like they could go a little further. And man, when X-Men 2 came out, I was like, this shit is bananas.
Yeah, that's the one that really kicked it off.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that shit was awesome. But yeah, man, look, my history with X-Men's pretty solid. Like, I've been following them, pretty much watching them kind of day one as they've been coming out. X-Men 2, X-Men 3, X-Men, what's after that? Origins. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Man, holy shit, Origins Wolverine is not a good movie. Like, that is... I remember being so excited for that in 2007. Might have been 09. I can't remember. I think it was 7. No, it was 09. Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I remember being so excited for that. I was like, yeah, fucking, he's gonna get his own movie. Like, it's gonna be awesome. They had like all of these like characters in there. Like, I like the whole Sabretooth thing, man. Liev Schreiber, we've talked about him on the podcast before. Like, that guy's awesome. He might be one of the best parts of that movie. Like, that just kind of like comes out of that movie unscathed.
Yeah.
I didn't really was not really a big Deadpool fan, so I didn't really, you know, latch on to how much like everyone hated him in that movie. I was like, oh, okay, cool, all right. But man, like, that movie was just so disjointed. There are some ideas that this movie uses, Logan uses from that movie, and they flesh it out so much fucking better. And I'd like to get into that later. Yeah, but like, look, man, my favorite X-Men movie might be Days of Future Past. That movie is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Good.
Hell yeah. And First Class is not far behind it, by the way.
I was going to say, if not, yeah, Future Past, it's First Class.
Yeah. Matthew Vaughn's fucking awesome, dude. By the way, if you guys didn't listen to our Rush episode, I saw Dark Phoenix, and it is a schmishmortion. It is. It is, man. It sucks because it's directed by Simon Kinberg, who actually is a first-time director, but really produced all of the X-Men movies. Like, he produced Logan as well.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, it sucks actually because it was either Rocket Man, Dark Phoenix, or that Dead Won't Die movie, and I was like, dude, I really want to see that. 30 minutes away from me, closest theater. Dark Phoenix sucks. I was like, well, time for Rocket Man. Fuck it.
Yeah, man. Like, it was bad. I nearly fell asleep. It was boring, if anything. Like, how do you make X-Men boring?
How do you make Dark Phoenix fucking boring?
Right.
Like, God, look at just not to interrupt you. Look at the cartoon. Look exactly what they did. Like, that was so captivating me as a little kid. I can understand it. It was a good story. I knew the stakes very well. I was like, dude, I sucked the fuck into that goddamn show.
And not only that, you've had 2 chances, Simon Kinberg, to do Dark Phoenix on screen, right? And honestly, X-Men: The Last Stand makes Dark Phoenix look like just it. Like, it's like X-Men: The Last Stand is the fucking Godfather. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and X-Men: The Last Stand is not great. But anyway, while we're here, dude, we can jump into the. Look, guys, don't worry. I will give my thoughts on Logan. It's just this is my roundabout way of giving my thoughts on Logan. The way Fox has handled the X-Men franchise, man, not great. Like it is where the continuity just fucks up, man. Like you're totally right. This movie just kind of like does such a great job of like escaping that continuity fuck up that Fox has just done with the whole X-Men franchise. Like, you can watch Logan as a completely separate movie and still know exactly what's going on. I think this movie just completely excels in that area, man. Like, I think it just goes, like, it escapes all the fucking bullshit, the train wreck that is now the X-Men franchise. I wish that franchise ended here at Logan, but unfortunately we got Dark Phoenix. But anyway, man, Logan. I remember watching an advanced screening of this actually 2 weeks before it came out in the cinema. Like, I was working at Hoyt's. I was working at the head office, and I remember like this guy walks in. Oh, sorry, Hoyt's is the cinema chain I used to work for.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah. No. And this guy walks in, like this guy that I was friends with, and he's like, "Hey man, I got 2 passes to the to the Logan premiere." And I was like, yes. Before he even asked me, dude, I'm like, yes. He got me to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and I fucking went and I watched it, dude, and I was like, man, this shit, this shit was awesome, man. Like, not only did it close off a 17-year sort of journey for Hugh Jackman, which is incredible, but man, the other part that I really wasn't expecting to hit me as much was Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man. Like, both of their performances back to back are just absolutely incredible. James Mangold's direction in this movie is just so confident. And I remember being a little nervous because The Wolverine was not good, and he directed that too. So
see, I haven't seen that one, and I was like, I've heard it's better than Origins, but not by a long shot.
No, that's you're right. You're definitely right. It is better than Origins, but not by a lot. It definitely has some really cool moments. But it at the end it just kind of like devolves into like a big CG fight, and it's just like I'm not here for this. Yeah. So I was a bit worried, but man, I remember like delving into sort of like James Mangold's sort of like resume. He's done some solid shit, dude. Like, he's done Walk the Line. He's done one of my fucking favorite westerns, dude. 3:10 to Yuma with Christian Bale and Russell Crowe. Have you seen that?
I like that movie. Yeah,
that's fucking awesome, man. He's got this one that's coming up that I'm really fucking stoked for, dude. Fucking Ford v Ferrari with Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
Cannot wait. Yeah. Because I remember watching Rush and being like, huh. This is weird. I was like, I feel like somebody watching me. What the fuck? I kind of freaked out.
How do we not bring that up on the Rush podcast as well?
Yeah, I kind of looked around. I was like, huh. All right, that's not a Matrix glitch. Whatever.
It's like you just see 2 cats in a row.
Yeah. It's like the fucking simulation in a simulation Rick and Morty episode. Oh, never mind. You don't watch Rick and Morty. Fuck me.
Yeah, I'm not cool. Sorry. But yeah, man, Logan, fucking incredible. Great send off for this character. Hugh Jackman has expressed interest to come back, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, let this iteration of Wolverine be, because this was this close was just perfect. Like, you gave this a 10 out of 10, dude. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 as well. There is nothing in this movie I would change. No story elements I would change. There is one thing. Maybe it does feel like it runs a little long at points. Like, it feels like it's a little indulgent at a couple points. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I was sitting here writing notes last night, and I messaged you, dude. I'm just like, man, you're gonna have to take over at halfway because I am falling asleep. I've seen this four times in the movies I watched this, by the way. Like, I know this movie almost off by heart. Yeah. But yeah, man, look, love this movie. Thank you so much for choosing it. If it wasn't going to be you, it was going to be me for sure, because we were going to cover this movie eventually. And I'm really fucking stoked to get into it. So what do you say we dive into this bitch?
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. We get this really simple opening with the, like, you know, it's a cool contrast to the X-Men movies, which kind of have these like really flashy opening credit scenes. And this is just like a black screen with white credits. Which kind of like lets you know what kind of movie you're into, right? It's just kind of like this bare bones, stripped down movie that I'm here for. You know, it's actually super refreshing. Oh, by the way, fuck, how did we not talk about this? This movie is rated R.
Oh yeah,
that was a big thing when this movie got announced, because before this, the year before this, 20th Century Fox had a lot of success with Deadpool, which was their first R-rated X-Men film, or X-Men spin-off, rather. And man, I remember hearing about this being rated R, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm fucking there for that. Like, it was refreshing for it to be an R-rated movie. Like, it just kind of like feels like that they've taken the chains off this thing, you know?
Yeah, like it should have been R-rated all along.
Oh fuck yeah! There is a scene in actually, the Wolverine has a director's cut that's actually rated R.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah, you can watch that, but it's all CG blood. Like, you can tell it's been like digitally added, and it's just not as satisfying as this. So yeah. All right, man. We re-meet Logan, and we immediately can tell that this is a different Logan than we're used to, right? Fucking beard is badass, man.
Yeah, man. It's funny. You just picture him always with the iconic chops, and when you see the beard, you're like, huh, you were missing that the whole time. That's weird. Just that one little clock of hair right there.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, he just looks fucking badass, man. And this is partially based on the very famous Old Man Logan storyline in the comics. Mm-hmm. Again, not something that I'm across, but just wanted to mention that, put that out there. Hey, those are chrome-plated lugs. You're gonna strip him. Mid-sentence, get blasted by a fucking sawn-off. Pendejo, cabron. I love this, dude. Of course, Logan gets up, tries to reason with them one more time. He extends his claws, but it's not like how it used to be, right? A little bit of a erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Takes these guys out, man. This is brutal. Like, James Mangold does not hold back on, hey, just letting you know, this is a hard R rating.
Dude, when he, they start, fucking with him, and he gets that berserker rage. When he gets up and chops that guy's arm off, and the shot, hits the fucking truck, it kind of like, it's such a violent and an explosive act of the arm getting chopped off. It's so genius of them to even put a little laugh right after that, because the shotgun hits the car. He goes, motherfucker! And before he can get it out, he gets kicked in the face. So I love the fact that it's this amazing, violent piece of, whoa, we've never seen this, followed by a punchline, and then they go right back into this fighting. Because, I mean, nothing of like this has ever been seen in like a major, superhero film, quote unquote. Like, seeing the actual limbs get chopped off, the guy getting stabbed under the chin who's like,
yeah, that's like the one that got me for this scene.
Dude, yeah, I think that's the one that gets everybody, because it's like, holy shit, like, that's fucking brutal. Stabbing dudes in the fucking, like, side of the head and shit. Like, it just really shows you what this guy, even in video games, when I play, the Ultimate Alliance games, they're rated T, so there's not blood, there's not violence and stuff, but actually seeing people get turned into, like, fucking... I mean, watching them get turned into like sliced provolone, it's just insane. just like cutting these people into nothing. It's awesome seeing the actual like potential of these things for once, like the full potential of what these things can really do.
Right, man. I remember watching X-Men 2, and remember when he like fucking slams that guard against the fridge? And like, it's just like this really visceral sort of Wolverine moment. Like, he just like it's these paratroopers invading the X-Mansion, and they're in the kitchen, and like he just extends his claws and runs at this guy, fucking, and just like slams him, like double fisting him against the fridge, man. Fucking badass. And I remember being like, oh, we have not really seen that kind of Logan until Logan.
Right. Yeah.
But man, like one of the things that gets me, and I wish Mangold did it a little more, pulling the camera back a little, like from the action. I wish, like, it does feel a little close at times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
No, that's
do you
fair.
agree? Yeah.
No, now that you say it, I could see. I think it would. I think it would help, especially when you have 5 or 6 people in an engagement. I think it might be. It's probably easier to do those scenes up close. Once you get far away, you get something kind of like The Dark Knight Rises when he doesn't even hit the guy and he just like drops. I'm like, oh, Nolan, come on, dude.
That's fucked.
Oh, poor form.
Yeah, Nolan's never really been a strong action guy. That's a whole fucking different fucking conversation that we can have one day. But yeah, man, like, but when Mangold does pull back, there is one moment here, dude, in the fucking fight scene that I love. It's this really like quick, like jab that he does, like and he's just kind of like punching him in the guts, like with the fucking claws, dude. It's awesome. I dig it. I love it. I love all of this.
Yeah, the fucking rapid like
that one.
I'm like,
that one, yeah.
dude, that is
That's
one
the
of the
one.
most brutal parts because it's in his
Yeah.
face as well, dude. It's like, oh, they wears it so well.
So well. So he fucking kills most of these guys. The others take off. I love the simple music in this sort of like first half of this movie. The piano here with the tapping of the cymbal and like this opening main titles by Marco Beltrami. It's fucking awesome, dude. And we get our first clue that it's set in 2029 with the billboard, and you get the radio, of course. Dude, the forceful ejecting of the bullets from his body,
Man,
as he's standing over that sink.
like, again, something we've seen before, but like in a different context now. You know, we've seen him get shot and the bullets just like pink, pink, pink fall off, but him having to like imagine trying to take a shit and it doesn't just come out. You got to force it. And you're like, oh, that fucking like something. That's the only thing I can think. Something so easy and common for him is just now a struggle, and it's like, oh, that's a totally new feeling, you know?
Right, and this is our first kind of like hint that he's not healing like he used to be, right? Like this is an older Logan, like his powers just aren't really what they used to be. And man, like in this moment, Jackman sells the pain, man. Like the look on his face throughout this whole movie, he's just like, I'm fucking over all of this. He works odd jobs as a driver, which kind of makes sense for this version of Logan, like to be this guy who, bit of a loner, he's saving up for this Sunseeker, and this is probably like the only way that he can do it. Makes sense. Quick look at Logan looking at the Sunseeker. At this funeral, we see Logan downing a bottle of something dark, my kind of guy.
Now, did you notice what the kids are drinking?
No, what was it?
A lot of people haven't. It'll come into play later. It's called Hypno, and all of them are drinking this energy drink called Hypno. It's the same energy drink that Laura has in the gas station. There's ads everywhere, and it'll come into play at the very end of the movie.
Wow,
it's dude. I did a little digging and I was like, dude, it is so right fucking in front of you the whole time. You're like, son of a goddamn bitch, dude. If that thing were a snake, like it a bit like it's there the whole time. You're like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Hypno. All right, yeah, fuck yeah. Hit me with that when we get to it.
Yeah,
We'll
cross that bridge. Yeah.
All right, so he's at this funeral drinking as he's approached by Gabriella, played by Elizabeth Rodriguez. Orange is the New Black fans, you'll recognize her, who asked for his help. Just like immediately, fuck. He's just like,
that's a good impression. Fuck.
Fuck. He's not having it. She pleads, and she pleads. As Gabriella drives off, Logan sees who we come to know as Laura in the back of her car. Logan goes to get some meds on the sly, and he's met by this guy, Pierce, played by Boyd Holbrook. Man, this guy oozes cool.
Oh no, he's great. He's like if they ever did like a retelling of the story of Adam and Eve and the snake in the garden, this guy would be a great snake in the garden.
Totally, dude. Like I had seen him in something before. So before this, he was actually the lead in the first 2 seasons of Narcos.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no,
Right,
I bet you he's great in that.
He is, man. He's also the lead in, and probably the best part of the new Predator movie. So, sorry, Boyd, but yeah, sorry you have to deal with that. But man, like he elevates that movie and that role. So yeah, as I live and breathe, the Wolverine.
Fucking motherfucking Doc Holliday Tombstone shit over here, man.
I know. We kind of like went over it a little bit, but going to like get the meds on the sly, dude. I love this shit. Like this kind of like him being so trying to stay under the radar, trying to like keep everything low key. I love like that element of it as well. I just don't want to skip past like all the stuff that like kind of contributes to that. It's just cool.
Right, not having to answer to anybody, not having to like deal with this shit. Like imagine him being trying to put down his date of birth when he's filling out a prescription card. He's like, right, like what? Oh, you're 250 years old. Oh,
you fought in the Civil War. Okay, all right. Pierce basically tells him he's been tracking his movements, asks whether Gabrielle has found Logan yet, and that he's looking for someone. She took something of mine, something for which I am responsible for.
Oh, I love. He's like, found 3 dead cholos off of Route Blah Blah and cut into. It looked like they've been cut to pieces, but cut by Freddy Krueger or a tiger. Like now, but neither one of them can drive, being as one of them is fictional and the other one is extinct. Like it's also great world building with like the auto trucks and shit like that. This is what feels kind of Blade Runner 2049-ish to me. Like we've got a lot of desert, we've got a lot of oranges, we've got, these animals that have gone extinct. We've got people like with robotic, parts and limbs. It feels a little 2049 to me sometimes, which is a good thing.
No, I love it. And you know what? They keep the futuristic stuff to a minimum and only kind of like put it in there when it's needed.
Right, yeah.
And
very,
I
very
really
tasteful.
appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. Logan denies it, tells Pierce to get the fuck out of the car, but he changes his tone a little when Pierce mentions the cue ball south of the border and asks Pierce what he wants. Pierce gives Logan his card, says he's a fan, and tips on out of there. And Logan freaks the fuck out when he reads Pierce's card, which says Alkali Transigen.
And what, Xavier's a classified weapon of mass destruction now?
Right, yeah. What, do we find that out here?
Yeah, I think he says something. He's like, I heard the feds later.
No, that's later.
Is it later?
Yeah, it's at their little ranch thing. Like, they have a conversation before fucking he gets hit in the head with the pipe.
Damn, never mind. I'm way off.
Yeah, fuck you. Are you new? But Alkali Transigen, so I'm sure you know Alkali, right? Like Alkali Lake, which is where Logan was made. Pretty fucking cool, dude. Like, when he looked at that card, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like... Logan talks to the seller of a Sunseeker, tries to haggle with him, but he's not having it. Dude, I love the little detail of Logan already knowing the border officer when he greets him. He's like,
does
Sam.
This so much. He's like, hey, Sam.
Yeah. Just little details like that, man. It's cool. Logan arrives at their little hideout and is met by Caliban, played by the fucking great Stephen Merchant, dude. I love me some Stephen Merchant. For those of you that don't know him, he fucking massive part of the UK office, helped create the US office. He's a director by his own right. He just directed Fighting With My Family, starring Nick Frost.
Oh,
fucking check
cool.
that out.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. He's hilarious.
The first thing I ever saw him in was Hot Fuzz. And he's like, what else does a duck look, or a swan look like? I said, well, it's a swan.
It's a swan.
It's like, that's all I've ever seen him in, honestly.
Dude, he kills every fucking comedic moment he's in. He's fucking hilarious. But Caliban, he was also in X-Men Apocalypse the year before this, like a different version of him. And this is an example of Fox being pretty fucking disorganized when it comes to the X-Men franchise, dude. Let me read you a quote from James Mangold about this, right? It's a funny, messy story of how so often these things are not as coordinated as everyone thinks. I actually had written him into our movie, and they didn't know he was in Apocalypse, and then they kind of wrote it into their movie, and they cast someone in their movie, and I had not seen it and was working away on mine. What?
Jesus. It's
just
fuck.
I
can... Well, Stephen Merchant's fucking, more fleshed out. The other one is more of almost like a cameo, But I like the fact that with this one, with Stephen Merchant's, like later on when he's getting, interrogated, he's like, I heard you used to work for us, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, he says something, he's like, what'd you do? Did you get religion or something? He goes, well, things aren't always as they seem or something like that. So it's kind of, oh no, you're talking about someone else. That's what he says. I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. It's like an in-joke, like to it a little bit. But it could be that we're looking maybe at the fictionalized version of Caliban and like their comic books and shit. Like, I don't know. I think that's super interesting how they can kind of reference it and not reference it at the same time.
Yeah, because I definitely remember being confused, dude. Like, I followed, I think it was, I still follow him, Hugh Jackman on Instagram, and like I remember like seeing him like post like little teasers and shit like before this movie came out, and I remember seeing like a photo of Stephen Merchant as like Caliban, and I was like, how's that going to work? Like, yeah, I don't know, but anyway, Caliban tells Logan that he's that the meds he bought aren't enough and that he, meaning Professor X, was communicating with someone. He says the tank he's in is supposed to act as a barrier, but that's not really working out that way.
Yeah, it's fucking, it looks like goddamn Swiss cheese.
It does. Oh man, that shot of like Logan walking out towards the down water tower, fucking awesome, man. By the way, there is a version of this like Mad Max Fury Road that is black and white. It's
Yeah.
called Logan Noir. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be interested. I haven't even seen the black and chrome version of Mad Max, but I kind of want to see how it goes. That's another thing as well that I'll bring up a bit later regarding Mad Max, but we'll get to it. So we meet an older, crazier Charles Xavier. He's ranting about the quesaluba from Taco Bell.
I said make way, sir.
I said make way.
That's probably one of my favorite lines that he gives. He pulls up, stops dead in front of him. He's like, "Make way, sir." Like he says it normal at first, just and you could tell in his head he's like, "I'm on a horse in a forest with a suit of armor on." Like he's very, I don't know, he's so confident in his insanity. You know, it's kind of
on
crazy.
a mission.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like he's kind of essentially lost control of his mutation, right? Like it kind of leads to this like unfiltered version of the power that he used to be able to control. Like it's kind of like turning on the radio and getting every single channel and not being able to filter them out. I'm assuming, right? Like,
right. Well, it's a mind, one of the most powerful minds in the planet, just slipping into senility. It's like, oh, that's kind of crazy. You know, it's like. like if Wolverine got like fucking carpal tunnel or something, you know, it's like, oh, like a hand disease or something that keeps your claws out the whole time. Like, I think it's interesting to do because he is so powerful, and it's what's the one, you know, Magneto could probably control it. You know, that's something you have to like activate, but his is so powerful. It's almost like, and it's just instinct to turn it on. Like it just turns on by itself. It's kind of crazy.
right. And one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is that when we think of Professor X, when we think of Logan, Wolverine, when we think of fucking people like, I don't know, Cyclops, we immediately think that, okay, they're superheroes, they have powers and shit, like, you know, they're pretty much invulnerable. But I love that what's kind of affecting Professor Xavier is this very human condition of dementia, right? Like this like degenerative brain disease, or like just fucking getting old. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that kind of shit. Like it's like he is not invulnerable. Like he is a human just with a fucking genetic mutation, and he can die like the rest of us. And he does get old and senile, like we all will, sadly.
Fuck that. I'm going out on my own terms. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy, hits fucking blunt.
Yeah, let me load this adamantium bullet up real quick.
I'll just take a normal one, dude. I'm good. As Charles gets knocked off his wheelchair, we see something happen, don't we? This stasis-like power that he has that he can't control. Man, we saw this in X-Men 2, where he's just kind of like able to sort of like control the motor functions of everyone around him. But this is like this like him unable to control the level of power. Man, like that's worrying.
It's like a Charlie horse on his brain, you know.
Right.
It's kind of just this clasp, and oh god, the pain that must be like. I mean, the mental sensation of like I can't move, and then this like I can feel them just being squeezed. It's like, oh fuck, that's gotta feel awful.
Right. What do you think about the way it's portrayed?
Oh, I love it. I think it's great. It's kind of, I don't know. It's I love the way that later on what they do with Hugh Jackman, like how he's like, you know, digging through the walls and to try to get to him. But this whole thing of the fact that it doesn't affect him, it's kind of almost the only cool thing that I liked about X-Men Last Stand is that he's able to actually charge Jean because he's able to regrow, you know, and they do the same thing with Days of Future Past, you know, the fact that his mind can handle it, his body can handle it. That's kind of interesting. It's like, it's a very cool power, but at the same time, it's a curse that's kept him alive for this long. It's like,
Right.
oh shit, that's kind of crazy. I think it's interesting that it's also for Logan, it's the source of being able to handle almost everything that life has thrown at him, but it doesn't matter because it's literally killing you. The other half of that, the adamantium, you know, is killing you.
Right, exactly. I actually have a question as to why Logan is the one that can stand this. So, okay, like there could be a couple things. It could be that he can heal really quick, which is probably the answer, right? Like that's probably it.
Yeah.
Or B, and this is me getting into my crackpot theories, and might be answered in the comics. Logan, okay, you know how Magneto wears that fucking special helmet to protect himself from Professor X?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Logan has adamantium in his skull, right?
Yeah, whole skeleton.
So is he less affected by this because he's also got metal in his skull?
I mean, I could see that being beneficial. Like it's going to keep you.
Yeah.
It's going to keep you weighted. And I mean, he uses that to his benefit. Like literally, he's like climbing up the fucking wall.
Right.
So I mean, I definitely think it helps with resisting. Probably. Yeah, that might. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like it's protecting his brain. I could definitely see that helping. It's not ever really explicitly said. It's probably more the healing factor. But I think that's a genuine like. Oh wow, I actually didn't think about it that way. That's not some.
Yeah. I thought about this time around.
Yeah, it's not some like half pot. Like I heard one when Pierce is like, I heard you was in Phoenix. Somebody's like, that's a reference to Last Stand. I'm like, no, it's fucking not. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, oh my God. I couldn't fucking believe it when I heard it. I was like, what? Fuck you. That is stretching. That's like you, that is like, you're running on a 5K fucking stretch. I was like, Jesus.
Well, this was a logic one. Like, I was like, okay, because I remember definitely seeing when he was like injected with the adamantium, like I remember definitely seeing it going into his skull, right? So I was like, if the logic of Magneto wearing the helmet to block out Professor X's like power works, then why doesn't this? And like we know that, I don't know, but
no,
I bet you some fucking comic book readers like screaming into their fucking radio right now, like, shut! That's not how it's supposed to be. It's because of this reason.
Yeah,
don't send me an email.
I have to get on Twitter. Start a petition to get somebody banned or rehired or something.
Hashtag let's get rid of Midnight Double Feature.
Yeah.
Logan injects him to neutralize the effects. And because we also see like the effect that this has on Caliban, right? Like he's fucking losing his mind over there in the kitchen. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Xavier doesn't know how long they've been there, what the pills are. Amazing moment, dude, as Xavier finally swears and says the word fuck, telling Logan to fuck off. Dude, what a reveal. Because, it was shown in the trailers. Like, I remember like the moment after the title comes up, Logan, there's like a little thing of like, when he's like, oh, I'm fucking 90. It's like, whoa, he's going to swear. But this is just like, fuck off, Logan. I was like, whoa, shit.
Yeah.
Damn, Patrick, you're supposed to be classy and shit, drinking Earl Grey.
Yeah, he's got no time for this bullshit anymore, And Patrick Stewart losing 21 pounds, you got to be fucking careful. Like, he's up there. Like,
right.
How fucking old is Patrick Stewart now? Because you got to think he was like, what, late 30s, probably early 40s when they're doing Next Generation. Like, he's like the Paul Rudd of older people. He's fucking 70. He's like 78 years old. So he was 76 doing this, I guess. 75, 76. It's like, whew, losing 20 pounds. Like, that's tricky,
Not good. Not good. But we haven't really talked about his performance in this. Dude, he is, man. There's no other word to use other than incredible. Like,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, like he sells every emotional. Like, it feels like he's been on this like 17-year-old emotional journey, and it feels like he's tired, he's done, and he's like the last thing he wants to give to this world is to give Logan a sense of place and a sense of like you have a purpose. And I love that relationship between Logan and fucking Xavier.
Yeah, I think that, he's weathered, he's worn, like he's not as optimistic as he used to be, but he's still very optimistic at the same time. He's not as like altruistic anymore. He doesn't think he's lost a lot of those like beliefs. Logan is like gone. He is like one, like if Stewart was at like a 10 and then he dropped to a 7, Logan was like at a 5 and dropped to a 1. Like there's nothing left for him. And I think it's interesting seeing Patrick Stewart still kind of being optimistic, but the very father-son kind of dynamic, which is, it's always kind of been there. But I think that him being, like you said, very weathered and kind of worn by this, Like Logan, I think it affects so differently. I think he's fucking twice this guy's age, almost 3 times as old as Xavier. So like Xavier's like, oh, you're so pessimistic and you don't know, blah blah blah. And Logan's like, dude, I've been around long enough to see history repeat itself twice. Like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's why I love that. I mean, it's kind of like, what is it, Days of Future Past, where he's like, you're like me, you're a survivor. I'm like, oh, that's fucking such a badass fucking line. I love that. And it's so true about him as well. I think it's something Xavier doesn't understand about him as much as he thinks that he does, to a degree. I think he does, but not as much as he thinks.
Well, he's delved into his mind as well, right?
Right, yeah. He's unlocked like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, totally. Xavier mentions that Caliban is a speciation, which is a new mutant, a young one. There are forces trying to kill them. And great callback to the first one, dude. They're waiting for you at the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was a long time ago.
Ooh, that's so good. I love that.
Man, that made me feel old watching that. Like hearing that. I was like, fuck. Logan mentions that there hasn't been a New Mutant in 25 years. And it's funny that the movie New Mutants got a trailer 8 months later after this movie came out.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It looks like a horror movie. That's something totally different. I'm like, huh. Kind of interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's confirmed finally to be getting a release, an actual release. It had been like undated for the longest time. It's coming out in 2020, directed by Josh Boone. The apparently it's gone through like a bunch of reshoots and shit. I'm keen to see it just to see what kind of like how it goes, but I know a lot of people have lost interest. So I can remember that being one of the first news things I reported about at the beginning of this podcast was like, oh, they've been delayed and it's supposed to be out at the end of 2019. I was like, that's a big, long fucking delay.
Dude, the trailer came out in October 2017, and I remember reading the article. It says, oh, due out in July 2018. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Jesus. Charles takes a long look at Logan and tells him how disappointed he is. He laments the moment when Charles found Logan and took him in, gave him a family. Logan says, they're gone now. I love this man, like just how he tells him about, look, when I found you, you'd been cage fighting and you were lost, and then I gave you a home, I gave you a family. Man, like these two in this moment just make this fucking movie for me. Like, you can give me as much violence as you want. You can give me as much berserker rage Logan as you want. I'm there for that. I'm down for that. But if you don't give me Logan and Charles in this movie, this doesn't work.
Right, yeah. If you don't get me the the people that I love always end up dying aspect of him, like, and the people that are still around, so I'm like, he has this like bitter kind of like kind of strained relationship with Xavier at this point. No one should live drugged up in a fucking tank, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh shit, like things are not, this ain't Manchester, or Westchester. That's
Westchester. Jesus Christ, get your shit right.
I'm thinking Manchester because fucking Bonnaroo is going on right now.
Oh boy. There's a nice little callback to the Wolverine. We get a quick shot of like a samurai sword mounted on Logan's wall. Yeah. Just a little, nice little touch. Logan forcefully extends that one claw that wouldn't come out and just drinks and reminisces, looking at his dog tags. And there's a quick shot of Xavier wide awake as Logan sleeps.
Mm-hmm. I've got those dog tags, actually. I bought them online.
Oh, that's badass.
I bought them for a costume. My brother, actually, I gave them to him, these Wolverine claws. You put the bar in your hand and the 3 of them come through your finger. Dude, I gave them to him because I can't wear them to a con or anything, because I stabbed into the box that I brought them in and just shredded it. I was like, oh, like they're fucking made of Japanese steel. And I was like, holy shit, these are badass. Don't ask me what I paid for them. They're fucking cool.
Also, dude, it's cheesy, but, and I know it's a very comic book thing, but I mean, his last name is Howlett.
I know. I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
fuck.
Like, yeah, that's. I don't know. That'd be like.
It's a different time, dude. It was a different time when it was written. So,
well, it'd be like Anthony Mackie, playing Falcon. His name's like Larry Falco. I'm like, come the fuck on, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah. Caliban wants to discuss things with Logan, saying that Xavier's doses are too low and that he nearly died this morning. Mentions that Logan is less affected, I'm assuming because of his healing, and we talked about this. By the way, spotted dick, so British.
I know. I was
So
like,
British.
Zoho's going to say something about spotted dick. I know he's going to say
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh no, because I remember. Did you ever watch the movie Shanghai Nights with like fucking Owen Wilson and
Like 10 years ago, yeah.
Jackie Chan? Yeah, I remember. Honestly, that was probably the last time I saw it too. I remember watching it with my brother, and like they get offered spotted dick, and we just fucking cracked up laughing as like two children that we are. Yeah. Also, pus from the knuckles. Yeesh.
Oh, yeah. You can imagine, even when he says, I can smell you, it's like, oh, man.
Oh man.
It's, you get a good sense of that. I mean, he's drinking all the time. Like, dude, I work with some people. I come in on Monday morning. They still smell from Sunday night, and they smell like fucking straight liquor. And I'm like, dude, I'm 4 feet away from you. I'm fucking here. And I'll spray him down with the axe and give him a piece of gum and be like, go fucking get some coffee.
So we've basically confirmed that Logan is a homeless man in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's making fucking bank, but it's because, I mean, you think he's paying rent here? Like, come on, dude.
Guy just wants a boat. The wounds on his chest aren't healing. Stay out of my shit. Something's happening to you, Logan. On the inside, I can smell it. Why? Oh yeah, I was like, why did I write "Hey driver, drive these" and then brackets Talladega Nights? It's because the chick takes the top off in the fucking as he driving it. Yeah, that's right.
I like that moment just because I love Logan looking back at them like like he's grinning. I'm like, yeah, you guys see some titties. That's good.
I like that moment because I like titties. So that's that's fine. Logan gets a call to the Liberty Motel, where he finds Laura and Gabriella. Gabriella says there are men after them. They need help going north to Canada. Logan dismisses it, saying that anybody can do that job. By the way, man, how many Ubers did she call to get Logan?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Can you request somebody who drives for Uber?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. That would be weird.
Yeah, you know what? Let's spend 15 minutes talking about this. Yeah, let's
get Uber on the line, guys. Hold on, we're gonna patch you through to San Francisco where Uber's on the line. Give us a sec.
Fuck it, it's 2029. Fuck it, I'm sure there's some way.
I don't even think it's Uber, to be honest.
Yeah, fuck it. He could just run his own shit, you know.
Yeah. She offers Logan $50K. Gabriella collapses as she argues with the motel manager. Why don't you get your fat ass back into the office? You'll get your money.
Oh, that fucking part. Little Mamacita's going to have to pay for that. And I was like, I hope he puts one.
Yeah.
If this guy slits your throat, butter would come out. Fuck you. Like, I was like, I was hoping he would stab her and just like ravioli comes pouring out of her leg.
Dude, she's on the ground and she's still asking for like money.
Yeah, she's got money. I've seen her, I wish I could pause the movie and just kind of lean into Logan and be like, no one would know she's even gone. Like, just like real quiet, like, come on, do it. These are the people I always want to see fucking slaughtered in movies like this.
I just want to see Laura just fucking extend her claws and just.
Dude, because when she starts coming up, Gabriella's like, no. Like, she's very like, don't touch her. Like, don't get anywhere near her. And you can tell it's not for Laura.
Right, exactly. Gabrielle tells Logan that she was a nurse in Mexico City. She was injured near the border, got away from men who knew her, who now know her car. This is our first little instance where Logan spots an X-Men comic. Dude, this whole element of it is fucking awesome. Like bringing, not only being meta, but bringing the whole, letting us know what the X-Men are in this world is fantastic. Like, Dark Phoenix does this great thing, and look, this is the only praise that I have for Dark Phoenix. The start of that movie, minor spoilers, the start of that movie, they get called up by the president, and like they actually are well known, they actually are heroes.
Cool.
I love that element of it. I love that element that the X-Men are something. They're legendary. Like, you know what I mean?
It's lore, it's mythology now.
Right.
I actually read something, this is on theverge.com. Early on in Logan, an older, beaten down Wolverine comes across a pile of vintage X-Men comics, dismissing the stories as hyperbolic at best and fabricated. The comics are more than a throwaway gag, though. They are to propel some of the story's plot, some of the film's plot, and the questions about heroism and mythologizing, of the past. That is to say, any random Uncanny X-Men comic wouldn't have worked. Speaking to Slash Film in February, director James Mangold noted that Marvel permitted them to use comics in the film, provided they were not real issues. So they turned to Joe. They provided to Chief Creative Officer Joe Quesada and artist Dan Panosla Panolson. I don't know. to create his own. So these aren't real comic books, but he was like, dude, we were totally playing off that like late 60s, 70s, 80s like vibe, you know, like more specifically the 80s. And I was like, yeah, because I can, man, looking at these, like one of them's like the pterodactyl with the blue or with like the purple shorts. I was like, dude, I remember that from a kid. I remember that character so well. And it's so crazy because he does look a little different. He has like two lines going down his head that aren't usually there, like in the regular comic book and shit, and like the regular characters. It's like it's a hair different, like it's a tiny bit different in some shots. It's like that's cool. I like that. I like the way it looks. It's interesting. It adds, like you said, it adds this great world building layer of like, you know, yeah, about what you've heard. A quarter of this is true. It's not even fucking accurate, you know?
Right, exactly. It's kind of like Chinese whispers or something you hear on the grapevine. It's like, this was real, and now like everyone's like blown this out of proportion. This is not what it was. I love it. It works so well. It works fantastically. Gabriella gives Logan $20K, saying that her friends will give him the remaining $30K on completion. And her boyfriend wants to kill her and take her daughter Laura. Gabriella pleads with Logan, saying that they have to get to North Dakota by Friday, or they'll miss their chance to cross. So this is the mission, right? This is if you compare this to Westerns, which this movie is, right? It is compared to Westerns quite often. This is very Western to me. Like this whole kind of like, I need to take or protect this person and get them from point A to B. I talked about on the Leon podcast that this movie does this fantastically, but I think the best piece of media out there to have done this element is The Last of Us. Like Joel and Ellie, getting them from point A to B, man, like that story, you were so dialed into that thing. And when Logan came out, it's like, holy shit, he looks like Joel from The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for this, and it's so fucking awesome, dude. Like this whole kind of like, here's your mission, get her from here to there, and that's it. It's done. It sounds easy, but it's better. It's easier said than done. So.
Oh, by the way, Sony is totally looking to expand The Last of Us remastered on Xbox One. Sony is fully supporting the latest PlayStation 4 console by expanding the library of exclusive video games, and the upcoming latest addition to this library is a remastered version of The Last of Us coming to Xbox. Because I'm an Xbox guy, I've always wanted to play that game, but I'm not buying a PlayStation just for that game.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. Fucking, you got to day one that shit. Like, I played it when on PS3, the day it came out, and then I bought the remastered one on PS4, dude. Like, I was just like, damn. But I've also got an Xbox, so you can fucking believe that I will buy that shit again for Xbox. So.
Oh yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so back with Charles, Logan tells him that he's going to go away for a few days. He's going to get some good money, then they're going to buy the boat. Will we be safe there? Asks Charles, and Logan says yes. Logan goes to meet with Gabriella, finds her room's been broken into, and finds her dead. God damn.
I expected her to... Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess she just looks like she was beaten to death,
Strangled?
maybe, but even then, yeah. But I expected him to turn around in the chair, and it's just like the Ring where her head fucking rolls off, and I was like, like see her face all contorted and shit. It's like Scary Movie 3. Are you okay?
Are you? The head's on the floor.
Yeah. We've referenced this like 5 times in a year.
Oh, dude, we have. But the thing is, I don't know how to cover Scary Movie 3. Like, that's fucking...
dude.
How the fuck do you cover that movie?
Young Frankenstein showed me how hard it is to do a parody film. It's like, you're just going to quote it the whole time, and fuck it. Who cares, dude? It's funny. Fucking just do it.
Exactly. Logan goes back to the hideout. Caliban finds the trunk of Logan's car open, finds a backpack. Before they figure out whose it is, a truck rolls onto the compound, and out walks Pierce. Pierce asks about the old man. I'd like to meet him. Mentions that Xavier's brain is classed as a weapon of mass destruction.
There you go. Says that it's a damn shame what's happening back east. What happened back east, right? Like, this is not really our first clue, but we're getting a little bit of we're getting more and more puzzle pieces as to what happened to the other X-Men, right? And why Logan and Xavier went down here, right? Down south. Yeah, we're being drip fed exactly how much we need and when we need it, and that's really about it.
Yeah, right. Which is fucking perfect, dude. Like, you're not giving us this massive sequence of exposition. Like, you're making us guess, and that's fantastic. I love that. He wants to know where the girl is. You're not the only one that's been enhanced, dude. I love his arm.
Oh yeah.
The CG, there's not much CG in this movie, but where it works, where they use it and it counts, it fucking works, dude. I love it.
Right, it's just little stuff. Some guys have metal legs. One of them guys have like a metal arm. It's not like they have a robot, fighting on their side. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like even later on with Logan's clone, it's a flesh and blood thing. It's not like CG or a machine or something like that. I thought that was a good choice. The fact that it's organic and not like a Terminator or something.
Right, and look, that might have been a story. Like, that might have been a conscious decision by James Mangold to not have that, but it also could have been budgetary constraints, because don't forget that this movie costs a lot less to make than, I guess, other X-Men movies, right? Like, this is a much smaller scale film. So, yeah. Okay, so Pierce fucking cops a metal pipe to the head as we kind of officially meet Laura. Xavier's taken a liking to her, telling her that it's going to be okay. Dude, I always loved her as she goes and snatches her bag from Logan. Just the way she looks at Logan, dude. Holy shit.
He's like, bitch.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Dafne Keen?
Yeah, I think that she does a good job. I heard that she beat out Millie Bobby Brown for this, that they both auditioned. And Millie Bobby Brown was like, don't get me wrong, I would love to be in that movie, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I'm not, because I'm not getting typecast as like the sci-fi girl, the quiet, non-speaking sci-fi girl. And I think that Dafne Keen does a great job, but like, if you want to put it under a microscope, there's some times where she only has the two modes. She has just deadpan doing whatever she wants, or she has that, that kind of growl and stab kind of thing. And I think the only reason why I'm okay with that is because she's like 10 or 11, maybe,
Oh, yeah.
So she's 10 or 11, plus she's this thing that's been raised in this, in a facility, and she hasn't really had a full range of experiences. She never even had fucking birthdays and shit. So I'm willing to let it slide a little bit more, but I think that and that makes sense to me why her character is like that. But I think if they needed her to have a little bit more range, I think she's lacking a little bit, just because our standards for if I'm thinking child acting, though, I'm thinking like her, Natalie Portman, and Millie Bobby Brown. And those are like some of the three best like female child acting I've ever seen in anything. They're both just, all three of them are fucking great. But I think Dafne Keen, she's lacking in some parts, but I mean, still, she's like an 8 out of 10. Like she knocks it out of the park. With most of the time, she knocks it out of the park. There's a couple things I changed, but not much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really bump up against her performance at all, man. Like, especially for like what they've set up. Like you raised it pretty well. She is this like thing that's been grown in like I guess kind of like a fucking test tube her whole life. And like when she gets out into the free world, like she's kind of like exposed to a whole different number of things. So, like, I like that she is kind of like a little bit more of an android, little bit more robotic. But like when she emotes, because she needs to sell that final scene with Logan. Like you need her to have that reaction to Logan's death when it comes, and I think she just sells that fucking so well, man. Like she does the rage well, she does the quiet well, and she does the confusion well as well. I think we can't really, yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with with her in this movie at all.
We'll get to that final scene. Oh, we'll get to it.
Oh no!
We'll get to it.
Oh no, guys, this is the end of Midnight Double Feature.
You just keep that dick in your pants until the end, mister.
Logan tells Caliban to take him out to the wash, to take Pierce out to the wash and dump him. Dude, when he fucking kicks Pierce, he kicks Pierce. Hey, Pierce, you are dead now.
You kicked him with an adamantium foot that has a boot on it. What the fuck? That's like RoboCop coming up and just like crushing. I was
Clunk,
like, dude.
Clunk.
Yeah. I was like, man, like, I mean, like when he kicks him, I'm like, dude, I would love if they cut back to Pierce and just like there's like a dent in his forehead, like a bumper. You're like, oh, well.
I wasn't even thinking dent, dude. I was thinking like fucking cracked skull. Like his forehead is like 8 meters away.
Well, and I like, what is the purpose here? He gives Caliban the gun so Caliban will just shoot him and dump him, I guess. I assume that's what's happening. I'm like, why don't you just kill him here? Like, why don't you just kick his fucking head in? Like, just crush his skull. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you kind of have to go movie bullshit, but it's like, if they're not going to kill him, I don't understand why they're going out here and dumping him, you know?
Oh, I just assumed like he gave Caliban's gun to dump with his body.
Oh, see, I thought it was like, hey, take him out there, get the fuck rid of him. We're
kind
leaving.
of a get rid of all the evidence kind of thing.
Right, because you got to think, he thinks he's by himself for this minute, and then he's like, we're out of here. He's like, go get rid of him, and we're gone. I've got the money for the Sunseeker. We're leaving. We're getting the fuck out of here.
Right. Xavier watches Laura and Aura as she eats cereal, and, you know, you can see her kind of like communicating with the telepathically. And Xavier tells Logan that Gabriella is not Laura's mother. Logan forces him to take the pills. Xavier is adamant that she's a mutant, but Logan's not having it. We catch up with Caliban as he dumps Pierce's body. Dude, one of my favorite moments in this entire movie. Closes the door, Pierce is already up, and you just see in the background the fucking convoy. You're fucked now, Moody.
Yeah.
Love it. I love all of that. Logan gets wind of it. It's not a choo-choo.
Yeah. Estes locomotor.
It's not a choo-choo. Shoves Xavier into his car and takes off. Dude, love it. Says that the girl isn't their problem. Right?
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, bye. He's like, that has nothing to do with me.
Right. This is not X-Men 2 or X-Men 3 Logan. This is a guy who's just seen so much shit and just wants out. Like, he does not give a fuck about anyone else, even a little girl. I love it. Logan can't get out of the compound, though, because he's cornered. By the way, man, like, these are fucking federales that are with Pierce, right? So, no fucking joke. I'm a nonagenarian, actually. Nonagenarian. Fuck that up, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Now, octogenarian, that's where you're 80 or to 89 or something?
80. Yeah, oct. OCT, so octagon. Eight sides. 8.
Right,
80.
okay. I was like, nonagenarian, is he saying, like, I don't, like, hold age? Nonagenar? Like, non-age? I was like, oh, wait, no. I guess it's 90.
Yeah. Logan goes apeshit briefly here. Fucking, dude, did you notice the guy with the gun arm?
No.
Dude, like his prosthetic, it's not even an arm. He's not holding one. His arm is a gun. Check it out.
I see
badass.
it. He's behind Logan the whole time.
Yeah, it's badass.
Yeah. I see it now. Holy shit! I never caught that before.
Like, is that an attachment? Like, if you go to the fucking shopping center to get some groceries, like, do you got to take that shit off?
Yeah. How does that work?
He carries a case of like arms and shit.
I'm going to call this right here at 34:22. Ding, 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 ding. Money shot. That is fucking the best shot of the movie, in my opinion. When he's like, what did you do with Caliban? Well, I left him in the same ditch he was going to leave me in. And he just turns and he rips that claw out.
Oh, yeah.
But the shot of everything right behind him and the guy grabbing him, like the way it's framed is like flawless. Like the way it looks, like with Logan on the right, but Pierce is far back enough from me. You know how I'm a fan of seeing a shot where something is a little bit farther away and there's something in the foreground of it. That whole shot is fucking great. Because this is Logan's instinct to just rip into these motherfuckers, and he just gets fucked up.
Right, and there's a reason like that shot was used very prominently in the trailers, man. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that's my favorite shot. It's fucking fantastic.
Pierce sends his men to go get Laura, and boy, oh boy, does this kick something off. By the way, the guy they send in to get her, this guy looks like Chuck Liddell.
What's funny? He actually is a UFC fighter.
Oh, shit. All right.
I can, if you give me a second, I'll just look up his name.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking remember because I thought about that too. I was like, is it every fucking UFC fighter that's in this? Like, what is his name?
You look for it. I'll move on.
Yeah.
So Laura walks out, throws fucking Chuck's head at Pierce, man. I love Pierce being slightly annoyed when he sees it. He's like, oh, Laura.
Yeah.
He's like kind of like barely sort of phased at this like decapitated head. Is there metal in his neck? Like, is his head kind of like an enhanced thing as well? Did you notice that?
You know, I did not even look because as much as I like it, I kind of wish when she comes out and she throws the head that it's such a small nitpick, but if the face hadn't landed so perfectly, if all we saw was the mohawk, because it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's fucking weird. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name. It's like Kaczynski Chikachinki. It's something crazy. He's literally called Mohawk in the goddamn movie. That's all.
Mohawk. He's fucking jacked.
Yeah, that guy's fucking huge.
Yeah. Man, but I love, as you know, fucking awesome, dude. I really wish that we didn't see this in the trailers, man. Like, this was just like, I wish this reveal was in the movie and not in the trailers, because Laura just starts slowly, like, advancing and just, like, she extends her claws. Love the music, dude. And fucking Pierce, command, stop. Like,
I love that. Command, stop. Just
love it,
wagging
man.
that finger. Oh, he's so good.
It's awesome. He controls it so well, man. As the Federales start to make a move, but man, I love like when she gets super close and he's like, "All right, go!" Like, you know, like this is not we have lost control of this situation, and this kicks off a fantastic action sequence.
Yeah, well, even their exposition, they do okay. You know, we have that stuff at the radio at the beginning that's a little heavy-handed, but I can tolerate that much, and that's about it. Because they all take off, and even this part, I 50-50 don't like it, where he's like, "Stop, she heals!" And they all take off. I'm like, see, you've revealed to me that she has claws and she heals in 30 seconds. Like, maybe the healing factor would be a nice little reveal. Like, something like that, kind of like how the back claws on the feet work. I'm like, oh, cool, I didn't see that coming. But I would have liked to have seen, I guess if she has the claws, you can start to assume that she's probably going to have the healing factor. But like you said, you know, I don't need this all in 30 seconds.
Right, yeah, it does come a bit quick. But I mean, look, that is nitpicking. Like, I'm not like, oh, fuck this movie, I'm turning it off. Like, it's just like a small little niggle, like small little annoyance, but whatever. Dude. Let's talk about this action sequence. Like, I don't have notes for this. I just wrote fantastic action sequence, all in capital letters, and then I just wrote foot claws.
Yeah, that's about as well as you could sum this up because, I mean, the kind of standout moments for this are, for one, when she's in the refinery, she wraps that dude up, takes him down, stabs him, and just stares at him, and she's like, ah, and then runs out of frame like that. Like, she's so quick, and I think that's what's interesting about Wolverine. Wolverine was like and he's definitely fast and he's feral, but he was more of a plant your feet and dodge and weave and kind of get in there. You know, he wasn't like a Nightcrawler, nimble, like agile. He wasn't that agile, but with Laura, she's like that. She has that Nightcrawler she's like Daredevil with claws. That's what I fucking like, because I'm a big Daredevil fan, and I love like his, like, in fact, Dafne Keen, she does martial arts and she is a gymnast. So a lot of this stuff, like, she has a stunt double, obviously, but a lot of the stuff she could actually do, and she was really good at like the basic stuff. I fucking love how mobile she is, and like I actually wrote like an idea for like a comic book character, like a female comic book character kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Like, and somebody instead of sitting there just swapping blows, you know, with somebody, you know, using the tactical quick strikes in the right locations. You got knees. She's striking arteries in the back of legs. She's cutting throats. Like, she's immobilizing people, and she starts with the legs on a lot of them and just brings them down. And that's what's fucking great. It's very smart what she's doing.
Right, the choreography and the style of it is really, like, you can tell they've put some fucking thought into this, man. There are a couple times where I'm just like, man, James, just pull the camera back a little bit, a little bit. Like, it does feel a little too tight on him, but look, I'm not hating this, especially like when they get outside and it's just like, it looks beautiful, man. Like this fucking dance of death that she does with these guys, Dan, with all the fucking dust and sand everywhere.
We should talk about the lighting here, actually, because I was reading that almost all of their lighting, if they were inside, was like 1 or 2 lights, and like that was it. Everything's very dark. When they do put the lighting on them, a lot of stuff is natural, like when they're inside. And he's like, oh no, choo-choo, locomotor. Like, almost all of that light is pouring in through the windows, through like the skylight. There's like an open hole in the top of it. Like, a lot of this is natural lighting. Even when like he goes into the hotel, it's the one light on the nightstand. That's it. Like, a lot of the lighting of this is when you kind of know that, it's one of those things you're not really paying attention to it until you know. And you're like, holy shit, they did such a great job with this. It's really good.
It does. It does look fantastic. And it just looks visually striking. Like it stands out from other films of this genre, and it just makes it look very unique. But yeah, they fucking make a run for it, dude. I love the stuff with the cars and the fucking chain link fence, man. Like this poor fucking motorbike guy that just gets absolutely slammed against that pillar, man. Holy shit.
Oh, dude, and like one of the little details that's so great is when they all start firing into the limo. For one thing, her entrance into the limo is fucking amazing. That's awesome. They roll up on her and almost hit her, and she rolls on top of the hood and then just parks herself and then just crawls into the car. When they start shooting, she like grabs Patrick Stewart and like holds him as like a shield. She's like, no, I can handle this. You can't. I was like, that is fucking an amazing detail. That is so cool. And I've never caught that before. She's so smart enough to know like this guy is not going to survive this. Like if I don't do it, like she's already being a hero. I was like, that's like, fucking cool. She's
already being a hero, but it's also like she's very combat trained. Because you got to think about what Gabriella says later, like, you know, in her fucking exposition dump, she's like, they were training these kids to be soldiers. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that is something a soldier would do. Like, you know, fucking die for their brethren.
Right. And
like,
she's having to fight full grown men. So she's kind of already adapted, you know, and is adept to this.
Yeah, it's cool, man. One of my favorite kills also happens inside the limo. It's the fucking the stabbing through the glass and just the red around the.
What did you think was going to happen, dude? What did you think was going to happen when you? Imagine there are two giant bees in this car and they can sting you through the car. Why would you jump on the fucking car like that? Like that's so stupid.
Fucking red shirts. What can you do?
Yeah.
Okay, so they make their getaway, they get cut off by behind a train, right? After they make their getaway, Logan wants to know who Laura is. Charles responds saying that Logan knows who she is and that she should remind him of somebody. Meanwhile, we get a scene of Caliban being tortured with Piers using the sunlight to hurt him. Yeah, by the way, a little ironic that they're looking for a boat. They want a boat called the Sunseeker.
Oh yeah, like and even I mean, of course, it's why he's like, well, you know, what am I going to do to come out at night, stay below deck? Yeah, it is pretty funny. You know, I bet you, I still think if they get the boat, Caliban's like, nah, I'm not going. I'll stay here. I'm like, I don't think that he would want to go even if they invited him. You know?
Yeah. Dude, that's. This whole torture sequence, man, like you can feel the pain that it's causing fucking Caliban, man. Pierce wants Caliban to track Laura for him. Beware the light.
Oh man,
wild. We get some. Okay, so this is one of the gripes I have about this movie. This backstory via this video that Gabriella records about Transigen. A little too long, and I don't like that there's two of them.
Oh, yeah, that it cuts out and it kind of gives us, like, yeah, I mean, I can take it or leave it. You know, it give, like, if the video, if we'd have lost this whole thing of them going to the convenience store and him getting the phone charger and her getting the snack stuff, like, I don't hate it. It's funny, and I do like it. I think maybe it might be there for a little comedic relief, possibly. But other than that, it's not completely necessary because even then, like this found footage style, like when Richter is bringing the blocks out of his room, like the wall is like, that looks just like a movie. Like that doesn't look like something you shot on a cell phone,
right,
you know?
Right.
But all the stuff in the hallway of the kids going in and you can tell she's kind of trying to hide it and stuff. I'm like, that's cool. I like that. Personally, it doesn't bother me, but I think your point is totally valid. I will say
to me, it just brings everything to a grinding halt.
Right. Well, see, I don't know. I think in some ways we might need this because look, we're 46 minutes in. We know that there are no mutants, that it's the future. Logan is dying. Professor X has this disease. Caliban can't go out in the sun. Laura is a clone of them. This woman's died. Like, it's like, whoa, this is a lot of shit right off the rip. And they've had to kind of dump a lot of stuff. I think it's okay. It's okay at this point because we also have to introduce like who these kids are, like what is going on there, what the serum is that they're using, what the kids are possibly capable of. Like, for what they do, I guess, like, the scene of the kid, like, telepathically hitting the guy instructing him and shit, like, you can cut some of this out. Like, we don't need to see, like, all of this. But I do think it's kind of, I think it's kind of necessary because we've had two badass action scenes. We've had the introduction of several characters and several plot points, and maybe it's time to kind of pause, do a mini intermission, just kind of see where we're at, gather everything, and kind of go forward. It doesn't bother me in that way, but it can absolutely be shorter. You are right.
I think where I kind of like really rub up against it is because it's just I wish Logan had found this information out doing something else other than watching a mobile phone video. I don't know. It feels a little too passive for me. Like it feels a little lazy. Like considering how all of the other reveals in this movie are just so fantastically well done, it just kind of sticks out a little for me, a little bit more than the others. I don't know. It doesn't break the movie at all. It doesn't break the movie. It's just a little gripe that I have.
I think that, I mean, for one thing, why don't we give Charles a little bit of a redemptive scene where he, against Logan's wishes, he's like, I'm just going to read her mind and see exactly what's going on. And we can see it through that, where it kind of gives Charles a chance to be somewhat useful and not just like a burden, and he can actually do something kind of like the scene with the horses. We can sprinkle in another one of those scenes that shows him like he can be resourceful, but it's kind of like at a price. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of the idea right off the rip. But I do want to point out when she's on the horse, right behind her is a big fucking ad that says Hypno. And there's like 2 ads right there. And if you're looking, when they're in the limo looking at her, there's like 2 of them right fucking there. And I was like, how did I miss this shit? It's everywhere.
I did not. I mean, I've seen this movie so many fucking times. I still have not caught on.
She's even drinking a fucking can of it. This Hypno shit.
One of my, I always hated this moment. Okay, so what I'm about to show you is illegal in the US and Canada. Like, I hate that fact. Why did she add the US and Canada? Just leave out that part and just say what I'm about to show you is illegal. Like I don't know. I've never really been a fan of that line. I like the way she says Canada. I like the way she says Canada. Essentially, we see these kids being experimented on. We see them each have special mutations. One of them looks like a young Rami Malek.
Yeah, he does. That's Richter.
Richter, yeah.
There's a couple of them, like the kid. One of them's based off of a comic book character called Avalanche. Like when he's looking at their paperwork later, it says Source DNA. The short, chubby black kid who shoots electricity, and the Rami Malek looking kid are actually based off of 2 real X-Men, like Marvel characters that were hardly ever used.
That's cool. I love when they do little shit like that. That's awesome. They were raised in the bellies of Mexican girls who now cannot be located. Yikes. Some X-Files shit. I love the contrast of the gruesome shit we hear, and then we see the adorable image of Laura riding on the motorized horse. Good shit. There's a little birthday celebration. Pierce walks in. I love the quick little line, birthday, no birth.
Yeah. He waves the fucking
puts
candle
out
out.
The candles. What a fucking dick.
Yeah.
This is also, we meet Dr. Rice, right, played by Richard E. Grant, who tells one of the nurses that we do not dress them up for Halloween. We do not call them baby or kiss boo-boos. Do not think of them as children. Think of them as things with patents and copyrights. Damn.
Ooh, I love when you look at Xavier's face and he said, we do not dress him up for Halloween. We do not. Well, you can see Xavier. I feel like that hurts him doubly more because he's like, I was a fucking teacher. Like, that's exactly what I did. That's all I did. And I'm like, oh, I can see it hit him so much harder. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. It's very quick.
Dude, I hadn't even considered that. Yeah, that's awesome. Also, Richard E. Grant, man. Like, I like him. He doesn't get too much to do in this movie. He's going to be in the new Star Wars. I'm really keen to see who he plays. Probably,
nice.
Probably a First Order general because he's British.
Yeah, that guy. Ooh, man, that's good. That's a good pick. Very good. I didn't know that.
It is. We see the kids doing target practice as Gabriella tells us that they're making soldiers and killers. Before we get any more, Logan's battery dies. As Logan and Xavier look out at Laura losing his shit because the horse stopped, Xavier tells Logan that she's his daughter, that Alkali had his genetic code, but Logan's all like, you are not the father, going on defensive.
I love that old shit. I don't have time for this shit, Logan. No, I'm not listening to it. I have to pee.
Great.
That's so fucking good.
He got some moments, man, fucking Patrick Stewart does in this whole thing. There's like moments in this like that are just so fully comedic and it just breaks the seriousness of it. I love it.
Oh, dude, he's so giddy when they're leaving, and it's like they're being shot at like violently. Like you see what their car looks like when they roll up to this casino, and he's just like, "Logan, don't forget about the girl." Like, oh man, there's actually some great delivery when he's being loaded up, and Logan's like, "Fuck the girl." He's like, "Logan, please, no, you can't leave the girl." It's so fucking good, man. I can't believe I went past that, but he's great. He sells the shit out of that like urgency.
He does, man, and fucking it's Stewart. It's Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
We are stupid to think that he couldn't fucking pull this off. Logan dumps Xavier in the can as Laura goes searching for food through the gas station. She staunches this clerk who looks like a little like Aaron Taylor Johnson with a glorious blonde mullet.
I thought the same thing, dude.
I'm so glad you did, because he does, dude. I was just like, holy shit, is that Aaron Taylor Johnson? Not okay. I love this moment.
Oh, that's great. That's really good.
This is I remember this very, very clearly in the trailers. Logan grabs a phone charger and a cigar before leaving with Laura, and Logan watches the rest of the video, doesn't he? Super disturbing as Laura fucking cuts herself and then heals, man. That, just the way she's sitting and the sound effects of it, ugh. Gabriella says that they couldn't be controlled. Man, the kid running off the roof? Jesus.
Holy shit. That's a whole other layer right there.
Yeah,
that's like,
yeah.
That really takes it home. You're like,
Totally.
fuck.
A soldier who will not fight is useless. Gabriella says that they're working on something better than the children, something without a soul, and that they must have been successful because the nurses told them they told the nurses to shut the program down, putting the children to sleep. Damn. Gabriella says that she read about a place for mutants, a sanctuary called Eden. She says there's no more money and that Laura is not her child, but she loves her. She says that Logan may not love her, but she is his child. She begs him to take her to safety. Man, this is the mission. You've been briefed. Here you go. I like that. For me, it feels like Mad Max Fury Road a little. It feels like you have this point B that you've been given. We don't really know it yet, but when Logan starts to doubt the existence of the so-called Eden or the green place in Mad Max, I love that what keeps them going is this hope and belief that it'll be there. That, despite rumors, despite all fucking everything telling you on the contrary that it's probably not going to be there, I'm going to get you there because that's my mission. I love that. I love that element of it. And that's something that both Fury Road and Logan tell so well.
Right. I think you also take the protagonist and you get them to a point where their backs are against the wall, where it's like this possible nothing is better than the something that I even have right now. Like, I mean, for Laura, it's like she's forced to. She has to. Like, there's no way. Like, I mean, she would get on the street, get picked up, probably murdering someone over a Snickers bar, and then she'd be right back with Alkali. So I think it's interesting seeing the position that these characters are actually kind of like their hands are forced into these things. And I mean, this is something in like road trip movies, even, you want to take something like this or Fury Road or even like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Due Date, Dumb and Dumber. Like, it's been in so much stuff. And I actually love that. Sex Drive is another one. Fucking hilarious movie. I love the cross-country road trip kind of feel of stuff. I think it's great. And I think it works really well here because it's in a Western sense of, well, load the wagon up. We're going to the next town because the gold's dried up. Like that's just kind of the feeling that I get from it is this constant packing up and moving like a caravan, like a Western, I think it's kind of interesting that Logan drives a long black limousine, kind of like a long black stagecoach, like kind of thing, like a horse-drawn carriage. So I think there's enough room for everybody to sleep. They have provisions on it. Like, I don't know. I drew a little bit of a parallel just now from that.
And it's very simple, right? Like it's very simple. It's very easy to follow. It's not this X-Men apocalypse situation where you have a villain from the fucking Egyptian times who, wants to fucking take over the world and do all this shit to kill all the other humans. And it's not that. It's just A to B, get there alive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
right.
It's
very
easy to
simple.
follow, for sure. All right, man. Like that's about halfway, or actually it was just me being lazy with the notes because I was just like, you take over. What do you reckon? What do you reckon about taking a break right here, my man?
Well, I guess I fucking have to. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
you do.
Piss. I gotta piss really bad.
Awesome. Guys, we'll be right back with more coverage of Logan. Do not go anywhere. Well, look who made it this far into the episode. Just while we're taking a quick break here, we've got a few things that we just wanted to put out there for any newcomers, or if you're not part of our growing community, maybe this could benefit you too. Firstly, we just want to let the newbies know about our episodes and the way Midnight Double Feature currently is structured. As you know, right now you're listening to one of our feature presentations. When we started the podcast, we basically built the show around our feature presentations. These are movies that we choose to cover and basically go through everything in the movie that's worth talking about sequentially. These episodes are generally longer, and we're definitely looking at ways to spice up our feature presentations by hopefully getting guests on. We also have our upcoming attractions episode. Typically, these come out during the week and are much more shorter than our feature presentations. These are hosted by Matt Vella and basically consist of a conversation between Matt and I about any movie news that's worth talking about, quick reviews of movies that are out of the cinema, and other hijinks. Finally, we have our special features. These are usually one-off special episodes that are mostly experimental and don't really have any specific definition. They could be a sit-down with a cast or crew member, a conversation between the hosts, or just a straight-up different thing that might not even relate to film. Before I let you get back to the episode, I just wanted to thank our listeners and supporters. We definitely couldn't have done any of this without your guys' constant support. If, for some reason, you're not a part of our growing community, head to our socials. We've got 2 pages on Facebook, Midnight Double Feature, which is our main page and has our formal announcements, and we also have the After Party, which is where we post memes, news, and teasers of what's to come on Midnight Double Feature. We're also on Instagram, which is at Midnight Double Feature, and Twitter, which is at MDFPod. You can also send us an email if you have any grievances or would like to let us know what we're doing wrong. That's midnightdoublefeature@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, guys. Back to the show.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to our coverage of Logan. We're going to jump right back into this bitch because we are freshly squeezed. Oh yeah, that's so having the backing vocals that he gives me. But
supporting.
Yeah, we're jumping right back in. Before we do, so I guess we're not jumping right back in. But it's funny we're actually talking about X-Men and the animated series and stuff because the creators of this, now that Dark Phoenix and Logan and everything's been taken off, the cartoon, the one that ran for 5 seasons and 76 episodes. So they're actually talking about bringing this back. They're talking about bringing it, now that Dark Phoenix is in our theaters, it's in limbo because Disney and Marvel have decided to do what they want to do with it. So yeah, they're thinking about bringing back the animated series right now. Trying to make a comeback, according to a report from Boris Kett and the team at The Hollywood Reporter. The creators behind a series that spanned much of the 90s is currently working to put together a pitch for a team at Disney. It's like, okay, cool. The report quotes X-Men artist Larry Houston as that the goal would be to continue right where the show ended. So that's pretty fucking cool. They did Dark Phoenix and that really well. They did some really cool shit in that show. Did you ever watch that growing up?
No, it was never really my jam. I know Matt did for sure.
Oh, dude, that fucking the fucking theme song, like, to me, that was just like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You know, that like those two.
Morphin time.
Oh, dude, the fucking finger shredding.
And grass explodes in front of them.
Yeah, exactly. The end of the X-Men theme song kind of almost sounds like Duel of Fates. Like the end of the X-Men one is like this bum 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 bum. It always reminded me of Duel of Fates, but it's an amazing theme song, and I loved that cartoon.
It's badass, man.
It's even as super cheesy as probably it is now.
Before we do get into it, I have a question for you, and I'm not sure if you want to answer it here or at the end of the episode, because it is kind of a big deal. Like it's kind of like the elephant in the room, if anything.
All right, hit me.
The X-Men joining the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hit that at the end?
Yeah. Let's think about it as the episode goes on. We can hit it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just jump right in. We've got Logan and Laura and Charles arriving at the hotel. They're getting some clothes. They're going to catch some rest. Did you know that Dafne Keen is like digital in all of these? Like she wasn't allowed in the casino. She's not of age. So
what?
They actually had to shoot her on a green screen, and all of that stuff with her in the casino is digital. I was like, wow, fucking Hands off,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like I fucking never would have. Sorry, hands off, hats off. I never would have noticed that. I had to read it to catch it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's awesome.
That
reminds me of like because also Logan's part of Logan's faith throughout the movie is also digital. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, like there's a video online on YouTube. And basically, like it's for the scarring and his aging as well.
Yeah, kind of like that red shit like on his face, kind of.
Right, exactly. So like there's some really subtle CG work going on in this movie.
No, it's fucking great. I love the way that they do this, the way that they handle all of their CGIs. I've harped this 1,000 times on this podcast: practical over digital, all the way. Laura and Charles watch Shane as Logan goes over this paperwork that she's got. He sees the X-Men comic. I love this confrontation that they have. You know, hey, look, we got ourselves here an X-Men fan. And of course, they're all bullshit, and about a quarter of it actually happened, and not like this. There's been some theories on the internet that the writers of this comic book in Logan are actually X-Men. Because what he says is, you know, it's written by some self-promoting asshole. And I was like, so is this like an X-Men writing a comic book about their time as an X-Man? Like, because is Eden... I don't think it's a coincidence that Richter is able to get a hold of somebody over in Canada. And I was like, wait, like, who would actually be there? That's what I don't understand. Like, who would have these exact coordinates? Only if you read the comic book, or maybe it's a group of kids who read the comic book and it was real for them before, you know, anything ever happened with Laura and their group. So I'm wondering, are there other, you know, because we know that 7 X-Men died. So we're probably talking like Nightcrawler, Storm, Beast, Cyclops, you know, like probably the main ones, you know, maybe Mystique, maybe Nightcrawler, you know, shit like that. But I'm wondering.
Well, she didn't, like in that radio, you're referencing that radio about the 7 X-Men dying. I might be wrong on this, but I thought it was 7 mutants died. Several of them were X-Men.
I think, well, when you're reading it, she's like, what, 600 people were injured and 7 people were killed, including members of the, and then it cuts off. But even, you know, it's so funny, on my captions on YouTube, it literally says several members of the X-Men. Like, even though she cuts out, it actually says it. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not particularly 7. It doesn't have to be 7 of the X-Men, but I think there are definitely 7 mutants, though, that get killed in this Westchester incident, as it's known. Logan leaves to look for a new ride and discovers that this Eden is in fact from the comic books that Laura has been reading. What did you think about this revelation right here, where it's like, what the fuck? It's been right in front of them this whole time. We're like an hour in.
Yeah, look, I liked it. I liked it. It was kind of like an oh shit moment for Logan. Like, it was just like, well, now I'm not going to do this because it's all fucking made up and it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. But then again, man, it's kind of like what I was talking about before the break. They're doing this on belief, like just off belief, like that it's going to be there. And I love that element of it. It feels very Western to me. It feels very like, we can't see it. We have no evidence that it's there. We actually have evidence going in the opposition that it's probably not going to be there. But because this is what we need to do, because this is what I promised someone that I was going to do, then I'm going to get you there. And like, I love that. Like, yes, it is like an hour in, and it's just like, oh shit, here's this revelation that it might not exist. But it's just also like that overrode it for me. That whole kind of like, we need to be there, like we need to get there.
Yeah, it honestly even reminded me of It, because in the story, it's like, or even in the new movie, you know, when Mike cocks back that gun and shoots it, and it's not loaded, but it actually injures Pennywise. It's like, you believe in it, therefore it is real, just because you believe in it. But yeah, he goes and he buys this truck. I love that. And he's like, how about I give you 10? You forget about the paperwork. Well, you still need new tires, man. They're bald. Like, I like this lady. She's good. I like this going back to the store. The guy's like, already talked to all the cops, and it just cuts to outside and you hear him screaming. You're like, whoa, like that's dude, the theater of the mind is always stronger than if they'd have showed us, you know, doing something crazy to him.
My mind's fucked up. Like, I'm sure that one of these guys is raping this dude.
or they're like shoving this guy's arm in a deep fryer, like back there, like, oh, something just fucking crazy. But Logan arrives back at the hotel just in time as Pierce's men have arrived, and Xavier started to have another seizure. cue this badass slow murder crawl as I have in my notes.
Oh my god!
You know they're holding him back with ropes, like I guess they're green colored ropes, but they did it because Hugh Jackman was like, I want the real look of me tugging to get into this place. And even right away when he shows up, we see the cars slamming into each other. It's like, oh, that's just like right there in the first 5 seconds, you see the damage that this can possibly cause. Of what he does. Imagine if he's on a plane and this happens. Like, holy shit! You start to really feel like the logistics, like the logistical nightmare of like, because he does this gets shut off and blah blah blah. Like, oh my god, that's fucking. That you can kind of understand where Logan comes from now, where he's like, I can't have you out in public like this anymore.
He's a brain nuke, right?
Yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite moments in this entire sequence, dude, like it's so awesome to like put yourself in the shoes of like one of these soldiers, especially this fucking guy who like really, really quickly you see his eyes turn as he sees Logan coming for him, and it's just like, oh fuck. I can't do anything to stop this fucking these 3 metal claws coming to fucking slice my face.
Yeah, having to like literally watch your death like slowly, like being paralyzed and seeing a snake just eat you from the feet down or feet up. It's like, oh my fucking god. But yeah.
And it's so awesome to watch it because it's just like the way their bodies like barely move because they're in this kind of like stasis. Like as he like fucking starts to just absolutely destroy each of these guys. Like their bodies don't move; they move like they're just frozen in time, which they are. It's awesome. But I also like just this quick little shot of Pierce just watching on the screen in his little RV, and he's just like stuck. He's just like, I'm watching this, but I can't do anything. Just quickly. What do you think about Pierce as a villain? Like, do you like him as like a? I kind of like that he's kind of sort of easily overcome. Like he's not this big villainous bad guy. Like he's just this military guy, like trying to hunt them down. Like I like that element of it.
Right. Well, I think when you've got Charles, Caliban, Logan, and Laura. You've got 4 of them, and maybe he has this army, but they're an army of dudes with just guns. And at the end of the day, even Laura you could pump her full of bullets and she would just be fine. Like she would bounce back from it. Logan, not so much, but still, just the fact of all of them combined, like look at Charles, just a slight flick of the wrist, and he's able to just like destroy all of these people. So it's like, yeah, you might have numbers, but we have like, what is this? It's an old story about, this town that was going to be attacked in Afghanistan, and they sent 5 people out to fight a force of like 100 people. And they're like, why would you do that? And the king was like, I would rather send 5 sheep than 500 lions, or sorry, 5 lions than 500 sheep. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Like, it just pumped. I always like that kind of story. It's the quality of what they can do versus just a bunch of dudes with metal arms and guns who, aren't used to probably fighting mutants because there hasn't been one around in 20 fucking years. They've been dying off.
Right.
But
quality over quantity, right?
Right. But I do like him as a villain, though. I think he's good. He's not the big bad. He's not a bumbling dumbass. But he, like you said, he is flappable. He's fallible, and that makes him a little bit more 3-dimensional, in my opinion. I think it works. I think it works out well.
Absolutely,
dude. I love Logan gives him the shot just in time. They promptly get the fuck out of Dodge. Xavier having to be wheeled through all the people, and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm so, and dude,
it is heartbreaking.
Heart fucking breaking, dude. Like seeing like him actually have to witness, like imagine if all these people were dead, he'd have a heart attack. Like that's fucking awful to have to drive him through that shit. But yeah, they get the fuck out of Dodge. On the road, Laura and Xavier argue over their relationship and their purpose with Laura. This is a good conversation between them. This was one of my highlights of it. Not only just for Xavier when he's like, bah, and he sticks his tongue out talking about the pills and shit. That's so fucking great. Like you said, his comedic timing in this, when it's perfectly timed and it's just enough. It's so funny. But this conversation with them is so fucking great where he's like, do you not derive any sense of purpose for what we're doing? Is no, absolutely fucking none of it. And he's like, probably because this is all, and then Charles doesn't really know that this is all based off the comic book yet. Like he's not really, he's not really he's not privy to the knowledge that Logan has about all this being based off of a comic book and stuff. A lot of this stuff is the stuff that I haven't played The Last of Us, but I looked up a bunch of screenshots, and him being in the truck and her being in the passenger seat, it's undeniable. The imagery is just right there.
Dude, when the trailers for this came out, it was everywhere. Like the comparisons. I'm pretty sure even Boss Logic on Instagram, like the guy that we follow, he's awesome, by the way. Go check him out at Boss Logic on Instagram. It's fucking awesome. I remember him, like, he mocked up like a piece of fan art, like with Joel and Ellie, and there was like a crossover with X-Men. I can't really specifically remember what elements of X-Men they put in there, but it was like, dude, yeah, it was palpable.
Yeah, this conversation's so good. Where he's admitting that he hasn't been taking his medicine. How long has it been since you take your pills? I don't know. He's like, fuck it. He hasn't taken them in 2 days. You derive no sense of purpose of what we're doing. I love Xavier right here. Oh, just be like everyone else. Blame someone for your fucking boring shit. I'm like, God, that's awesome. Like, it's this apathetic fucking Xavier. It's kind of cool. I dig this. I dig the nod. It's like Yoda if Yoda fell on like hard times, like he's a little bit darker. I love seeing characters like that. And this where we cue back to Caliban being introduced to Dr. Rice. Now this is
Rice.
This is our first like actual face to face with Rice, isn't it? We've seen him in the videos and stuff.
Yeah, because he arrives here on this helicopter, and basically he's kind of telling Pierce off, right? Like, he's just like, you're not in charge of this. And he rocks up to Caliban, and they have a little talky talk.
Yeah, I like it. He's trying to play that higher kind of, we're just, we're trying to stop them for they hurt anybody else, and we're
doing good, right? Like, every good bad guy thinks that they think what they're doing is justified and morally good.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This kind of higher morality thing. But yeah, they're on the road. This is where we get, after they're arguing, where we learn about Laura's like back claws, how the female lioness in a pack is both provider and, both mother and hunter. So she has to use the back claws defensively. What did you think about the foot claws? Cause I'm kind of like, I don't really need that. I guess it's cool, but like, I could have done without it. It's not imperative to the story. It's not like it comes in later as like a big thing that she does that, like the adamantium bullet. It's not like the back claw is like the adamantium bullet that comes up later. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing about the X-Men, man, and like the way they show their powers. It's cool. Like you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. I don't necessarily need it from Laura's character, but I'm glad that it's there. Like, I'm glad that it like popped up in an action sequence to be more visually striking. Like, I like that. Like, it's not like that it was overdone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like it's there. And honestly, like the way she's like earlier when she's like flipping around doing her like balletic fucking movements with her action sequences, it looks cool and it's awesome, and the sound effects are fantastic too. Plus, it was actually a cool reveal. Like the first time you see the foot claws, it's like, shit, this is new.
Right, because it kind of, the first time Logan sees the claws, you're like, oh shit. And then he sees the foot claws, he's like, fuck? Like, he's like, what the fuck is going on? Right. But this is where we're introduced to the Munson family with these auto trucks. This is great world building. The auto trucks is like, man, that's to me, that's like on the level of like, I don't know, like, the Asian woman drinking the cola in Blade Runner. Like, it's this great, like, world building device. That's
we're not far away from this. Like that, that's another thing. Like 2029, we really are not far away from auto trucks.
Right? Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's not like, and even Mangold said he wanted to stay away from this, like from what he called like touch tech, like the Iron Man, everything's touch,
right.
Like the holographic kind of shit. He's like, I just wanted to stay away from that. And I think they did a great job with that too. With
the auto trucks, how do they work? Like surely there's going to be some kind of like emergency brake system or some shit. Like you know what I mean? Like surely that, like if some fucking old lady is walking in front of the street, there's going to be some kind of mechanism for it to be built in for it to stop. Like, it's not going to just keep going, right?
Well, see, that's what I think Will is the dad's name. He kind of like when he's talking about, the fact that they're trying to run him off this land and blah, blah, blah. And,
that's
Logan,
right.
Logan's like, is that what happened with the auto trucks? And Will's like, I don't know. He's like, I wouldn't put it past him. So it's like, this might have been an intentional thing, which I think it's great. That adds another layer. It's fucking cool. I really, really enjoy that. These horses, the horses get out so close to getting hit by one of those fucking trucks. It's like, ooh.
I know, there's one that like really comes super close to it. I'm like, oh, move.
Yeah, like, man, something about animals, like, now that I've had a dog of my own for, like, a year now, I get, like, really, like, get out of the road! Like, fuck these kids, get out of the road!
Have you seen Texas Chainsaw: The Beginning?
No, I've never seen any of those movies.
Okay, look, it's not good, but, man, like, the first, like, opening sequence is, like, literally them hitting a cow, like, driving into a cow while it's on the road, and it just fucking goes everywhere, destroys the car, totaled. But yeah, it's brutal. It's violent as shit.
Dude, I love Rice's voice role. Before we get into that, I'm like watching the movie, trying to skip it because I actually love Rice. I wish there was more of him in this. He's great, especially just his speaking pattern is great. I think he's got a very Ben Mendelsohn like
Richard
career.
E. Grant.
Yeah. Do what? Oh, Richard E. Grant. I can see him having like a very similar career to like Ben Mendelsohn for sure. But yeah, they end up getting these horses back on. I love Xavier, another little moment of redemption, him, being able to bring these horses back in. I think it's just also symbolic, just like, this wild horse, like a stallion in a Western film that can't be tamed. Like, I think that's kind of a bit of a metaphor for Logan as well. Kind of like Xavier bringing these people in, to him. I think.
I like it.
So they end up helping them with these horses to get their truck out of the ditch. They offered a free meal. Great comedic shit from it's like from Charles. He's like, oh yeah, you can come and eat with us. No, we've got to go. That would be lovely.
He's waving his hand.
Yeah, his adorable little old man wave is so fucking great. Oh, yeah, and this is where we get that conversation with Rice and Caliban where he's, trying to bargain with him. I just love that. He's like, the Reavers were very ineffective, but I'm bringing new tools to bear. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I love his speech pattern, the way he talks. I really hope that guy does some voice acting. Like, as I get older...
Because he's British. Because he's British.
Dude, I mean, for sure. Like, I was even like, dude, you might, like, I've been fan casting Mr. Freeze lately, and I'm like, dude, I have no problem with this dude being Mr. Freeze. Like, I think he'd be fucking cool. Like, make him a little bit...
Oh, that's good.
Make him a little bit less dorky than he is in this. He's like way too excited about all this shit.
He was just in something Oscar worthy. Actually, like I heard some Oscar buzz. I don't think he was nominated though. I might be mistaken on that. But it was the movie starring Melissa McCarthy, which is weird. Can You Ever Forgive Me was the name of the movie. Like it was like a really apparently it was an Oscar sort of like favorite, but yeah, it was nominated for 3 Oscars, and yeah, he was nominated. Yeah, nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role. Damn,
I've never even heard of that movie. I'll have to check that out.
Apparently, it's great.
But so they end up inviting them over for dinner. Over dinner, the two families bond and get to know one another. I think this is great, especially and it makes me so sad. The line where she's like, "Well, I just want to travel," and Patrick Stewart's like, "And I bet you will," and I'm like, "No, they fucking won't.
Oh,
like
man.
They're gonna be dead in like 6 hours."
Everything that happens to this family is just tragic as fuck because they're just like they don't deserve it. I remember watching this with my dad and like. I was just like, how cool was that? How cool was the movie? Like it was really sad that Logan died. Like it was really sad, Patrick Stewart died, 17 years. And he's like, I'm just sad that family died. They didn't deserve that shit. Right. And I'm like, yeah. Like
just these like all American, blue collar people trying to get by and they're being forced out by like all of this shit that their life has been about. Like having this farm, trying to get these tractors that I wish God would provide me some new, whatever he says. And then, they're fighting for their land, and I love the instinct, like when the water gets shut off, fill up the bathtub. Like that, I've heard that several times. Like when your water gets shut off, just fill up the bathtub. And I was like, God, that's so believable. And they're such a believable family that it's like, yeah, it fucking sucks. Like the outcome of them because everything that you are or have known or ever will be just gets wiped away. It's like nothing in the face of what these people are doing, and they've brought this fucking shit to your doorstep. Like, God damn, that's so heavy when you think about it.
Not to mention, like, no, the first time, I mean, I can't remember which of the fucking 4 times this happened when I watched this movie in the cinema, But man, this is such a great moment with like this is our only smile and laugh from Logan in this movie.
Yeah, dude, that's in my fucking notes right here. Like him and Laura, except for him getting smirking when they flash him tits at the beginning, that's about it.
Right.
I love this whole thing, you know, where I'll drop out of school. Careful, you were talking to a teacher there. You know, he ran a school. He's like, well, it was a special needs school. And
I love it.
How casually he points. He's like, he was there.
Yeah, right.
Like making him sound kind of like mentally disabled. I was like, what the fuck? I wish I could say you were a good pupil, but the words would choke me.
Oh, it's so fantastic.
Dude, this guy...
chemistry.
Yeah, this guy could... I mean, Patrick Stewart could fucking probably charm my girlfriend into bed. Like, Jesus Christ. He's so fucking... He's so great in this. He's so...
Oh, great, Lindsay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Lauren and Logan smile. Lauren and Logan smile for. You know, you also realize Logan, 5-letter L name. It's like the same. Oh, yeah. They smile for the first time, but the bliss is short-lived as someone is shutting off the water to the Munson home.
Dude, so I don't want to skip past the timing of this. So it's like Laura and Logan smile, and then immediately we pan outside to like the trucks arriving.
Yes.
Like immediately. And I remember definitely like in the cinema, like people love this moment. People love the moment of these two like having finally some kind of solace, you know, like some kind of like happiness. And then like I just remember like a couple behind me being like, oh no. Like, you know what I mean? Like audibly just being like, oh no. Like, you know what I mean? Like I love that reaction because like that's exactly what Mangold is going for.
Right, it fucking kicks you like right in the goddamn teeth. Like there's no two ways about it. But yeah, you know, this is where we get this fucking like water shut off, and this whole thing about them being forced out of the land. We see a little bit more of the world building of like the corn. He's like, oh, nobody eats corn anymore. He's like, it's all high fructose corn syrup and, you know, this and the other, putting it in food. This is what I'm talking about with these energy drinks, where I guess we can just kind of like, we've been avoiding this little episode. I guess we can kind of get to it. It's like,
yeah, can you hurry up? Because I don't know this shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's rice at the end. Rice is like, you know, we didn't perfect ourselves. We need to perfect what we're taking in, our food, our drink, blah, blah, blah. It's all this shit that they've been growing like to kind of pollute it and eliminate mutants. So like it's like a gene correction thing. They've put them in stuff like this hypno drink. So that's why we're at the field. We see the corn. We see the drink like constantly. I didn't even realize it till just now. This is so random. So one of the prom kids at the beginning who's like, USA, you know, that really obnoxious thing we usually do on here when it's like, when it's an American episode, like we, one of those kids is actually Chester from, or no, I don't think his name is Chester. In real life, his name is Chester, but he's he's in Stranger Things. He's like Steve's best friend in the first season. Chester Rushing is his real name, but I had a friend of mine that I worked with at the restaurant. And she said one night they went to high school with this dude, and he was like, hitting her up, being like, I'm in love with you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, get the fuck away from me. She's like, and then all of a sudden he's on Stranger Things. I was like, that's so random. That's so weird. It was just such a funny story. I remember them telling me, and every time I see that guy now, I'm like, of course your name's fucking Chester. Like something creepy. Oh yeah, but you know, they're going to go and they're going to shut off dealing with this water shut off problem. Before they go, Logan tucks Xavier in for the night. That's adorable. Xavier tells Logan, you know, Logan, this is what life looks like. A home with people who love each other. A safe place. You should take a moment and feel it. You still have time. Like, oh, that line, you still have time. Like, again, I'm like, dude, Xavier, he's 150 years older than you. He is like you. I think you don't. I don't know. I don't think sometimes he takes into account, like, emotionally, how his age. You know, imagine how emotionally wise that Xavier is, and then double it. You're like, dude, this guy, I mean, he's just like, whereas Xavier grew up in a mansion and had all this nice, loving family, Logan's like, yeah, I mean, I murdered my dad when my claws popped out.
Right.
I'm like,
but don't forget that, like, although sure Xavier hasn't lived Logan's life, he knows exactly what Logan's been through. He's unlocked his mind. Right. Like the first X-Men and even the start of the second X-Men. Well, I think actually a big part of the second X-Men was Logan going to Xavier and being like, I need you to unlock this piece of my memory that that's been closed off to me. And in doing that, I think, it's not much of a stretch to say that Xavier knows exactly everything that Logan's been through.
Right. I think he still knows what is best for Logan, but like I just think he has a problem with getting through to him, because it's like I know he can. I think it's one thing to see it and like feel it, but it's like it's not your life though. You get to go home at the end of the day and still be Xavier. It's like, this is my life. Like you see it, I have to live it. I think that's an interesting dynamic that they have. And yeah, just this, and especially what he retorts back to him. He's like, Logan counters and says that the world isn't what it used to be and that eating isn't real. And I love Charles, but it is for Laura. And that's all it is. That the conversation ends right there. He's like, checkmate, motherfucker.
I love all of it. Like this made me tear up. Like this whole sequence here. Like their performances are so genuine, and I just really latch onto that whole, she believes it, so we must as well. Like, you know what I mean? I latch onto that part of it, and I love it.
No, it's really well done. It's believable as well. Little kids would believe in something like that. It's easy for me to believe that they believe. Oh yeah, and like I said, we get this world building. The corn, they don't eat it. It's just for corn syrup. It's those things. We get those big. He's like, look like T-Rexes with those big arms and no brains, like that. Those mammoth
harvesters.
Yeah, dude, I love those. I got kind of like a James Cameron Aliens feel, like when I saw them out in the field. I was like, oh, I get a good horror movie vibe from this shit. But yeah, they go to fix the water, and they are confronted by the landowners who are trying to push them out.
These guys are douches.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, and he's like, I have a lawyer now. 1, he's like, because I don't really want to go over the logistics of this, but I guess that somebody else owned the property beforehand. He had an agreement. He
said he has an easement with the previous owner.
Yeah, but my thing is like previous, right? This guy owns the land now. He's telling you to fuck off. Like, is that legally something he can do? Like, I was like, I don't know. We need to get an American real estate lawyer in here, get him on the line to crack this mystery. with property law, and I hate property law, so I hate this shit. It's probably wrong because, again, hate property law. Easements carry over, like they get lodged with the government and they carry over to whatever owner is next. So it should be, yeah. So it does carry on, like, because it's not like, oh, it's a new owner, therefore all of the previous changes that we've done to the property reverts back to what it usually used to be. It gets lodged with the government, the land and property information, and then it just carries on. So, by the way, guys, I'm sure when you signed up for the Logan podcast, you didn't think you'd be getting fucking property law. Yeah. It's funny. I actually kind of like this because it's just a movie that, like, I had to learn something a little bit to be like, how is this legal? Like, it's not detrimental to the story, but it's cool. I like that kind of shit. That's why I fucking listen to podcasts. That might
not be relevant to bumfuck Oklahoma or wherever the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Like, it might not be relevant, but I'm just saying that's how it is in New South Wales. So
gotcha. But yeah, they get this water shut off. I love these guys roll up. Will's like, all right, just stand back. I got it. Logan's like, okay, bud. Like, I could go out there and rip these guys in fucking half right now. And I like that Will thinks that Laura's just mute, and Logan's just like, yeah, been mute since the beginning. Just like goes with it. It's so good. But these guys in front of him, I love it. He's like, oh, it looks like Mr. Munson here went and got him some muscle. And he's like, no, I'm the guy that's telling you to get back in your nice little truck and go play Okie Dickhead someplace else. Like, oh, that's good. That's fucking great.
If a guy that looked like Hugh Jackman does here stepped out of the shadows, I would throw down my gun. I would be like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm sorry for threatening him. Like, I wouldn't even I would assume the bullets would bounce off him. Like, even if he didn't heal.
Right. He has this, like, if you look at Jackman, because, like, I actually, like, I've been going back to the gym and paying attention to, like, some celebrity workouts and stuff, not like Hemsworth or Chris Evans or anything, but, like, Hugh Jackman's is one, like, holy shit, I mean, like, my body frame, I'm not going to look like that. I'm fucking 6'4" and, like, naturally 230 pounds. Like, I can't weigh any less than that. So I'm never going to be, like, shredded like that. But the way he looks in Logan, he's, like, he's got, like, bigger pecs. He's more bulky than he is, like, shredded. And I love that. That's such an interesting detail. Because they said Hugh Jackman wouldn't drink water for up to, like, 24 or 48 hours before scenes. because it did something with his muscles and his water weight, and it made his muscles and his body look more dried out and more tired.
Right.
And he advised, he's like, do not do this at home. I shouldn't even be doing this. He's like, but I'm a professional.
That's what bodybuilders do before a show, right? Like they dehydrate themselves to make it look more sort of like muscular and vascular. But like, I think the biggest he's ever been, like just looking at it, and I'm pretty sure he's admitted it too, was the Wolverine. Like he was huge and ripped. Like you could like take a block of cheese and you could make a fucking pizza off that cheese.
Oh, dude, he's shredded.
Here we are talking about fucking bodybuilding, and all I'm thinking about is pizza. So what does that say about me?
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm fucking, as soon as I'm done with this, I got the rest of a burger in a to-go box. I went to the gym on my birthday. I went to the gym today. I went to the gym like 3 days ago. I'm like, all right, I'm fucking gonna smash a burger or something.
Hey man, I wished you a happy birthday in the after party. Don't make me wish you a happy birthday here on the episode. But happy birthday, my man.
Thanks, dude. It was fun. I went out. Well, it was yesterday for anybody who cares, but I went out and got Queen's Greatest Hits on vinyl, and I bought Wolfenstein: The New Order. So I was like, I want to check this out. I'm not a big Wolfenstein fan.
It's good shit. And you got Queen tickets.
Yeah. My girlfriend got me tickets to Queen with the Nashville Symphony. It's going to be an outdoor concert. It's going to be here in about 2 days, so I'm fucking pumped. I love the Nashville Symphony. They're really, really good.
Badass.
And thanks to everybody in the after party and stuff who said happy birthday, and LSG's page and shit like that. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. It was really fun day. I spent 30 minutes of it at the gym, fucking sweating my ass off watching Logan. And I like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, if I just put forth the effort, that's what I'll look like. That's what I'll look like. That's what. And most of it's like the dieting and shit that they do, man. Like it's not even the workout shit. It's like, dude, I can't afford the diet that these motherfuckers have. But getting back to this movie, we can get out of our like heterosexual, like, or like these homosexual overtones that we've got going on. But that's
a staple here in a double feature.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They confront these landowners. I love Logan punching him in the fucking nose and snapping the fucking gun over his leg. Like, ooh, God. Like, if that's any indication of how strong he still is. You can see Nate too. He's like, or Will. He's like, the fuck. But Logan steps in. They're sent packing back at home. Xavier. Oh, this scene.
This scene. Yeah, this scene. Man, holy shit. Patrick Stewart, I keep going to say Patrick Wilson, but that's a whole different fucking guy. Yeah. Patrick Stewart just absolutely sells this, man. Like, you can hear the vulnerability in his voice. You can hear the sadness in his voice, man. Like, he's just like, I remembered what I did. I killed all those people. I have no control over my body. I have no control over my genetic mutation. I am a weapon. But this has been, when he says, this has been the most perfect night of my life, I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, because like, as much as it's kind of the same thing, like I think where he and Logan are failing on communicating a little bit. Logan is failing to communicate and just realize, like, dude, he's not a complete invalid. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he knows that he's done something and maybe he can't remember it. And he even says, this is not the first time I've hurt people. Like, so something else has happened before. I'm sure smaller scales of this have been leading up to the Westchester incident. Which actually, I was in GameStop yesterday. They had a goddamn baseball cap that was, it had an X on the front. It was like Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, Westchester, New York. And I was like, my head's too big. So I didn't get it. It fucking sucked, but it looked really cool. Navy blue and gray. Oh, it's fucking sweet.
Dude. The reveal that he's not talking to Logan, I should have seen that coming. I should have seen not that it was another, like, not that it was X-24, like a clone of Logan, but I should have seen that it wasn't Logan standing there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because he doesn't talk, it seems like really sort of like eerie. But they do such a good job of this reveal. I was not expecting Xavier to go this early. I had a feeling that it would be closer towards the end, but this was just a total shock to me. Like, when he puts the fist on his chest and then he like extends the claws into his chest, I'm like, holy shit.
See, I think I knew something was up when you see him walk in, But I was like, okay, we're like, I think after about 5 or 10 seconds, when they hadn't cut to Jackman, I was like, this is not Logan. Like, something's going on here. Like, but the shock of it, the fuck of it, is seeing fucking X20. He's 24, right?
24, yeah.
24. Seeing X24 being like, wait, what the fuck? Like, I think I knew that it wasn't going to be Logan, but I wasn't expecting it to not be Logan. You know, it's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, this is kind of crazy. Even like the eyes, he has those gold colored like eyes. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it just threw me through such a loop, especially seeing him with his head buzzed down. I was like, that's really crazy. Like Logan without the signature like haircut. And you know what? I kind of dig it, man. Like, I wouldn't have minded at all if Logan at some point was like, I'm just taking this shit all down and keeping a full-fledged beard.
I dig
like,
it too.
Yeah, I'm fucking cool. I mean, of course I like bald guy with a beard. I mean, come on.
Dude, also the way he's carrying fucking Laura with that brace that he's got.
Oh, that thing's fucking cool. That's some badass future tech looking shit. I was like, neat, dude. I like that. But yeah, this is, back at home, Xavier admits to not deserving the amazing night that they've just had, saying that he's done something terrible and that he had forgotten all about it until last night. Basically, Logan wouldn't let him remember. I think I finally understand you now, says Xavier, but this moment is unfortunately cut short when quote-unquote Logan stabs him through the chest. I love Laura diving right in and just starts slicing and fucking dicing.
Dude, she goes insane.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's like, I mean, it's kind of, look how Logan reacts to Xavier being killed, and I think she's right there. Like, I mean, like, Xavier's probably one of the first people that she talked to, A, telepathically, that's got to be insane, but then B, this nice older man who's like, it's okay. Like, imagine the feeling of relief that he must be able to put over you mentally when doing that. Like, hey, it's all right, I'm not going to hurt you, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. But yeah, she begins attacking X24. Nate attempts to intervene. Fucking bye, bitch. He's like, just comes in with a bat. I'm like, not a good idea, dude. Like, I get it. That's great. But fuck, that's not a good plan. Probably should have had a plan B.
This was all shocking to me. I wasn't expecting the kid to die. Maybe the parents, probably definitely the dad. But I was not expecting the kid to die at all. I was like, holy shit. Like, this movie is uncaged.
Yeah, they earned the fuck out of that R rating, and that's what I love. It's not grotesque, but it just really shows you, in this kind of world, the lawlessness of this movie is something we haven't talked about, and that's what feels very Mad Max to me. Like, right at the beginning, we have these guys on the interstate stripping the fucking tires off this thing where anybody can see them because they don't give a fuck. Who's gonna come and fuck with them? I think the lawlessness of all this is the lawlessness of all this. But
Western as fuck.
Yeah, it's great. It's kind of like every man for himself kind of feel. Laura's captured. I love the mom pulling the shotgun out, and like right when they show up, she tells him, you just stay down there. I would have been like, dude, get the fuck up here now. Like, telling him to stay downstairs. Like, what the fuck? But they arrive just as Catherine, that's her name, Catherine is killed, and the two Wolverines come face to face. That's a great fucking shot. Him just like...
That round shot, yeah.
Well, and having to choose between Xavier and Laura, and being like, fuck. Like, not only are you seeing basically a clone of yourself, but you're having to make the choice of like, if he's got Laura, what the fuck has happened to Charles? And you're like, oh man, that's a terrible kind of decision to have to make, because he's like juggling everything. He's trying to take care of her and take care of him at the same time. Oh man, it's fucking brutal. But yeah, the Logan rushes to Xavier trying to help him. He's also, it wasn't me. Oh, that's fucking great. That's such a good detail of him being like, no, like that wasn't me. And
he's pleading with him.
I don't think Xavier thinks that it is, because he's like, wait, you're not. Like, I mean, I'm sure this guy has seen a clone of somebody at some point. I mean, if you lived in the X-Men universe, like, people are reborn and died, reborn all the time. So, like, I'm sure he's like, I know that's not him. Like, I just. But
it's also not. Like, I'm sure he knows that he's not the type of person to do this, right? Like, he knows Logan very well, and he's just like, hey, this is my friend. Well, essentially my son. He would never do this to me.
Right. Exactly. Totally. Logan rushes to Xavier, trying to help him. Just as X-24 is about to leave, the landowners return with more people and attempt to attack the Munson family. I love this shit. She's like, hey, listen, I don't know what Munson's paying you, but I'll double. I'll give you $5,000 a week starting off.
Fuck this guy. He's like Kanewood can start you at 5G. Week that is.
Yeah, the fucking confidence of this dude. Like the only thing I can like think it's somewhat similar to is like in The Exorcist with the doctors. They walk in, they're like, all right, Reagan, and she just smacks the fuck out of them. Like, oh, that's so good. That's so hilarious. But yeah, he turns these guys into fucking like sauteed onions, dude. Like, Jesus.
That first one, holy shit.
Yeah, dude, what in the Sam Hill? His head's just fucking gone. And yeah, so, you know, he ends up taking the fucking, but I mean, he's also unleashed. You can tell they don't have control over X-24. I think that's another interesting detail. It's like, it's Logan. It's the essence of Logan. You cannot control him like that. Like, it's not, you know, this guy has the will and the anger of the Hulk without being able to Hulk out. Like, he's got that berserker rage that's so fucking great.
And you've got Dr. Rice trying to like, you know, reel him in. He's like, 24, what are you doing? But yeah, you're definitely right, man. Like, you can't cage this fucking animal.
Right, exactly. You know, he's tearing up the landowners. Logan is trying to help Xavier, but his wounds are too grievous. I love the Sunseeker. He's like, what? He's like, the boat, the Sunseeker. And that's it. He dies. And you're like, what the fuck?
Damn.
Like, it's so unlike, I don't know, think of like Jean Grey's death in X-Men Last Stand. Like, it's so unceremonious. Like, like this is like the opposite of Last Stand. Like, it's so, he dies in a fucking Oklahoma in the back of a pickup truck. Like, what the fuck? Like, one of the smartest and most powerful mutants that's ever lived dies.
I like it.
Yeah, it's just like, holy shit. But of course, this is going to send Logan like fucking into a rage. Pierce and his men attempt to bring X-24 back in, but they're caught off guard by Caliban, who throws the 2 grenades and says, beware the light. Holy shit. That's great.
Such an awesome moment, dude.
Yeah. And
I really wish they went with a practical explosion, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it at the same time. It's one of those like 50-50 things where I'm like, you know, explosives and you've got kids on set. You're like, fuck it. Let's just make this easier and safer for everybody. Like, especially when you've got kids on set and shit that much. But just the framing of him, and, you know, he clicks those 2, it cuts over to
the grenade, the pins. Yeah.
Yeah. And just, oh man, it's so well done. And I mean, just the deaths of the Munson family, Charles and Caliban back to back to back. You're like, whoa, like this. I mean, this scene breaks fucking bad, like deep. It goes real bad. You know, so Caliban sacrificing himself trying to kill his peers. Logan and X-24 start to face off. I love that. What the hell are you? And you can really see it fucking Logan up too. Like when he slashes him across the stomach, like that wound is there, I think, pretty much for the rest of the movie. Like, he is fucked up.
Dude, like I don't want to go past the sound effects here. The sound of like them like fucking swinging at each other, and the sound of like the blades, the claws, it's fucking fantastic. But also, like, I love seeing just how bloodstained their claws are. There's a moment here when like Logan's on his back and like 24 is like standing above him, and he's just like he goes to plunge like both of his fists into Logan, but Logan blocks it, and you kind of get this really like close up of like all 4 of the claws kind of intersecting, and they're all just bloodstained as fuck, man. It looks awesome, man.
Yeah, like I said, they fucking earned that R rating. That's badass. And, you know, they fight around for a second, and it looks like fucking X-24 is going to have him. But then here comes Will rolling up at this fucking truck. I love it because it was so unexpected, you know? I wasn't really expecting to see this. I actually wrote here, Logan intercepts X-24 before he's able to reach Laura, and the 2 engage in battle. Fortunately for Logan, Will surprises everyone by smacking X-24 with the front of a Ford going about 40 miles an hour. He gets out, he unloads the fucking shotgun into 24, and he goes to shoot Logan, but it clicks. Kind of Shaun of the Dead feel right there a little bit.
What do you think about him pulling the trigger?
I mean, do you blame him? Even if you're not the one who killed my family, like, this is still, like, you brought this to my doorstep. Like,
exactly, yeah. That's where I sat. At first, I was like, I don't know about that. But then, yeah, it definitely dawned on me, like, hey, you just saw your wife and child die.
Right. It's like, what have I got to lose at this point? Fuck it. Why don't I just kill you? But they, him fucking up X-24 is great. The eye just totally gone, that empty socket. I was like, shit. It's so fucking good. I love it. You go shoot Logan. The gun is empty. He collapses and dies. Laura and Logan escape, and Rice tends to X-24's wounds. I like this. Is this where we're first introduced to this green serum kind of shit?
Yeah.
Is this where we first see it?
Right, exactly. So he's like, it'll make you heal faster.
Right, and I would normally have skipped right the fuck over this scene, but that's kind of important. Like, this, it's kind of ends up being huge in the rest of the story. And I love when they get into the car and Laura sees Charles. She fucking freaks out. That's so good. That's really. I mean,
oh my god!
Could have been so easy just to go right over that, and then they just take the time to do it.
It's primal fucking scream. Yeah, for sure.
Several hours later, Logan and Laura bury Xavier, with Logan unable to say anything about his late father, but not unable to destroy a truck with a fucking shovel.
Dude, one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. Like, this whole sequence just highlights how fantastic Jackman is. Man, like, he can't spit out past it's got water. he's so lost for words. He looks like shit, and B, he's just kind of like, he's lost the closest thing to him. He's got nothing. And I just love the absolutely poignant fucking moment of Laura just grabbing his wrist, and very much like Logan in Logan fashion, he gives up. He fucking gets too pissed off to deal with this shit, and he goes and deals with it in his own way. I love it. Right,
yeah, because, like, let's take this a moment and break down for 30 seconds. Let's break down this timeline of X-Men. So you've murdered your father, your stepbrother, who was your friend, ends up becoming an enemy. You've seen, you yourself have killed, like Jean Grey at some point. Even if all of this is retcon and shit, he still has memories of this. Like, he's seen all these people: Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Seen, like, all these people getting murdered. Saw the events of the Days of Future Past and people being hunted down and murdered. Like, all of this shit. I mean, imagine the concentration camps he's seen in World War II. Imagine all of the shit that he's seen the humans and mutants have done to each other. And to constantly see your friends and family murdered or die. Like, in the comic books, there was a woman, there's an Asian woman that he fell in love with. And that was a big part of the story and the animated series as well. And, like,
and the Wolverine.
Do what?
That comes into play in the Wolverine.
Okay, cool. I need to check that out. If they're playing from that angle, I always dug that about him. I love the fact that Wolverine's a character that can play off. He can put together, like, a samurai and a Western film. And I know that those are similar in kind of themes sometimes, but it's just the fact that he can be a Western samurai superhero is fucking cool. I think that's so interesting, and that hasn't really been done with a lot of, like, comic book characters. But yeah, him going to fucking town on the truck. I mean, this is so typical Logan. Like, can't express himself through words, so I'm going to pick up the shovel and go to town on this fucked up truck. Like, just goes fucking crazy with it. And of course, that Jackman scream that he has is so fucking good. Like, it's so, I don't know. It's so, like, whereas Laura's feral, I think that Logan's is more this, like, wild guttural scream that's fucking great. It's like a blood curdling growl. I love that. But he eventually collapses after fucking up the truck, and Laura's forced to get him help. Logan wakes up at this urgent care walk-in clinic, and it is actually also revealed that Laura's not mute, which I take for granted now that I see this, because I feel like she's already spoken. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no. I forgot. She hasn't said a word. We're fucking hour and a half in. She hasn't said shit. I love this doctor. He's like, I really thought I'd never get to meet one of you, blah, blah, you know, and I expect him to be like, would it be okay if I were to lick your wounds closed? I would very much so love to do that. Like, he kind of, I know he's like, he's so oblivious to what's going on. It's like, dude, look at me. Do you want to get involved with this shit? do you really want to see? You really want to like break down and see what happened to me? Because this is probably going to happen to you if you keep fucking with me. Like seeing his naivety do the whole thing. It's like, dude, this is like, look at me. Like, don't fuck with this shit. Don't get involved here. This is a very bad idea. But yeah, you know, and also where we see the Logan knows that his claws are poisoning him. He's like, you know, go to a doctor and see what's poisoning you. He's like, I already know what's fucking poisoning me. So they go out into the truck. Laura stole in this new truck. I love it. He's like, you can't just be stealing shit. Like, he's like very passive. He's like, I don't even fuck it. I don't even care.
This conversation is fantastic. Again, Hugh Jackman. Hugh gets better as this movie goes along. I'm not saying that he was shit at the start of it, but man, like you start to feel the weariness of this task, of this mission. And here is where I it hits me, man. Like when he's just like, now I am fucked up and I cannot get you to North Dakota. Like, you know what I mean? I buy it. I buy it 100%.
Right, because this is him at like his weakest point. Like he's on his last nub of a leg. 'Cause I love when she's like, see, North Dakota, por favor, and she's pointing in the comic book. She's like, I know. He's like, listen, it might have happened once, and like you can see he can't keep up this like gruff demeanor where he's just like, no, shut the fuck up and blah blah blah. Like he kind of starts like he's trying to reason with her a little bit more than just like forcefully screaming at her until she punches him in the face.
That was awesome, dude.
Oh, dude, that's so for stop fucking hitting me. Because it looks like she straight fucking pops him. And that's what I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, a kid punching an adult in the face is that's amazing to watch. I don't know what it is. But especially him screaming back at her where she's like, like, you know, what is it? Gabrielle, Victor, Christopher, all right, shut the fuck up. I'm like,
Delilah.
Oh yeah, her. I love her accent. I'm a big like, you know, I
awesome.
speak a little bit of Spanish. You know, I've gotten better and better at it. But I love her like her enunciation of stuff. She's like, you took all the medicine. Like I love it.
It's wearing off.
Yeah, she's fucking adorable. I want to see a Millie Bobby Brown audition tape at least, though. Like, I think that she's a little too old for this role. Like, when it came out, she was still, like, what? She probably would have been 13, 14, I think, probably. She's definitely older than this girl, for sure. Like,
Oh, no, go. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to bring up something completely unrelated. Dude, this was the first ever superhero movie to be nominated for a screenplay Oscar.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, don't forget, like, that this predates Black Panther. So this kind of, like, blazed the trail, man. Like, that's awesome.
Actually, you know what's crazy? Dafne Keen and Millie Bobby Brown are 1 year apart. I'm like, really?
Oh,
like,
shit.
You do not
I wouldn't have called that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never would have, like, thought that at all. I hope she does more. They're talking about expanding onto this character and possibly, you know, maybe when Disney and Fox stop dicking around and get everything like locked in together, I would love to see that. I would love to see.
I'm good.
No, you don't want to see. I'm not. I don't want to see a continuation of Logan. That's not what I want to see. But I want to see something of like maybe it's been 10, 15 years and she's a woman. She's an adult now. She's like, you know, now I lead a team of X-Men. You know, the 7 or 8 of us that escaped wound up like making a community. Like I wouldn't mind seeing somewhat of a continuation, at least with the character, because I think it's awesome. Like we've had Hugh Jackman for like 17 years, man. Like I think it's okay to switch to somebody else. You know, it's kind of like seeing everything go from Hulk, Cap, Iron Man, and Thor to get swapped over to like Captain Marvel and Black Panther, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with shit like that. Like let's just slide this over a little bit. Like it's the same character, just like. I don't know, like I wouldn't even mind like something like Batman Beyond, you know, like it's kind of the same premise. I'm like I don't mind those kind of stories just because I like seeing other people take the mantle up is what I'm saying.
Right, I definitely like to see a Batman Beyond. Like we'll talk about this later when we talk MCU and the X-Men. But yeah, sorry, go on. I just totally fucking got you lost in the weeds there.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was like, I wasn't even really saying anything. I think just the fact that they have this great conversation and, you know, like he's saying, you know, this about, you know, all this shit is just made up and it's not fucking real. And that, you know, your nurse, she read too many stories and, it's so fucking good. And I love, he's like you said, he's like, no, I am not taking you because I am too fucked up. Like, it is a 2 days drive for a place that doesn't even exist. It fucking pops him in the face, and that's what just ends the whole thing. He's like, fuck it, you want to go? Fine, fucking, let's just go. Yeah, she demands he take her to North Dakota. He refuses. That's a 2 day drive and too fucked up to take you there. He eventually and begrudgingly agrees, and they take off. Donald Pierce gets their destination from a picture of Laura's. I like that. I like the fact.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
So his name is Donald. This is a story about children, outcasts, wanting to escape the U.S. to the north.
Oh my God.
Did you not catch that? I caught that back like way in 2017 because he just won the presidency. So I was just like, oh, what is this?
You know, it's crazy. I share his birthday.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
Me, Boy George from what is that, Culture Club, and Donald Trump all have the same birthday. That is,
oh man.
Talk about a real raging party between the three of us.
I just finished the show When They See Us on Netflix, and without any spoilers, I'm just going to say I could not hate Donald Trump any more than I do now. So,
well,
yeah.
I mean, that's saying something.
Yeah.
But so the next morning, the children leave for the border. Logan wakes. No, I'm just kidding. Just slip right into that and be like, "Oh, fucking."
We're gonna build a wall in Canada as well.
1 star. So yeah, as they get there, you know, and they're driving, we see Pierce. Well, yeah, like I said, Pierce got the location from that picture. We see Laura and Logan are talking in the car about how Logan wants to die and that Xavier has told her not to let him. That's so great, you know. I love this whole exchange where he's not like, shut the fuck up. He's like, oh yeah, what else did he tell you? Like he's like sarcastic to this point. He doesn't even give a fuck anymore. Laura forces Logan off the road and demands that he rest, leaving her to drive them the rest of the way. Really great. I love him waking up in the car and she's like, aquí, por favor. And he just collapses. Yeah. He's like, oh, nope, I can't fucking do this. And he just totally collapses. Logan wakes up and is lifted up to the children, who give him some of the green serum to help him heal. I love all the. What did you think about this like Lost Boys mutant club thing?
I like it. I mean, like, you know, we kind of had a feeling that it was coming, right? I mean, you know that there's going to be more kids out there, and I had a feeling that she was going to meet up with these guys before she goes north. But I do like it. Like, I like that that she has other people. Like, I like that she, similar to what Xavier wanted Logan to have, she kind of has people like him and people like her and, like, you know, like a family, more or less, right?
Right. I mean, and to have someone your own age that you can relate to. She's been riding around with a 90 and a 250-year-old this whole movie. So she's like, all right, I need to be around, like, people my own age, like my own kind. People aren't fucking dying. But yeah, this is where Logan also has this fucking nightmare. Dude, his sound just like this fucking sound. Like, I was like,
I like it. It's a little much.
I was like, dude, this sounds like when I'm playing a video game and my dog knocks out on the couch and he starts having a nightmare and I have to, like, shake him up. I'm like, hey, Tom, wake up. Like, I have to wake him up a little bit.
It sounds like when I have sex.
Just you tussling with a body pillow.
But this leads into one of my favorite conversations in this movie. This is just how brutally honest Logan is with Laura here. Like, she, you know, shows him the bullet and she's like, yeah, you know, I was actually thinking about shooting myself with it. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, we know that that's why you carry the bullet, but I was not expecting you to tell this little girl that. Like, you know what I mean? I was not expecting that.
Well, and can he look any more like Clint Eastwood? Like, when he's leaning up on the one arm and his head kind of slouched over, it's like, dude, like, where are you for a Clint Eastwood biopic? Like, they need to get on that shit for real.
Right.
And I mean, and what, Shane, I know Old Man Logan, the comic book, was a little bit based on this, but also the Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, which I've only seen a little bit of. I know it's a great movie, but I really, really need to finish it. I got burnt out and sick of Westerns. Our dad watched some True Grit, The Shootist, The Sons of Katie Elder, Bonanza, like just Westerns and shit all the fucking goddamn time, and I could not handle it anymore. I couldn't stand it.
Daniel Felch, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry for you what you just heard.
Yeah,
he loves his Westerns.
Is he a big Western fan?
He loves his Westerns.
See, I wouldn't have minded him, but like that's why I think I grew up and I was like horror and sci-fi, and because they were totally different stories. After the Westerns, especially around those times, those Westerns are kind of, I mean, they play out very simply. Like you can see the plot coming from like a mile away, but that was movie making in like the 40s and 50s and 60s. So
right,
what are you gonna do?
Westerns aren't a big thing here. Like, I mean, because like it relates more to American history, right? If you bring it to Australia, it doesn't really have that much of a cultural resonance. But I love it. Like, a lot of people love it. It's just not as big of a thing here. I actually personally love it as a genre, dude. Like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, come on, that is the peak.
Oh yeah, that good. High Plains Drifter, I really like. Even something like No Country for Old Men, I feel like is a Western. Like that's, yeah. You've got the point A to point B, like we talked about earlier. I definitely consider that a Western. Even Django, even though it's more of like a Southern,
yeah,
yeah,
Hateful Eight,
yeah. Oh, yeah, I still haven't seen that yet.
Check it out.
But yeah, that night Logan has the nightmare. They wake up and they discuss their dreams. Laura says that all of her dreams are of her being hurt, but Logan's are of him hurting people. He asked about the bullet, which you talked about. Says that he's kept it as a reminder to himself, but then later was like, well, I guess I can always shoot myself with it. And I love her going to sleep. She's like, I hurt people in my dreams too, but they're bad people. And he's like, doesn't matter either way. It's the same thing. I'm like, but not really.
No, it's not. It's not really. But I like that it's this kind of like. It's this Logan that doesn't really give a shit anymore. It's this Logan who has a hard time differentiating between good and bad.
Well, and like she says in the car, and we totally panned over this, she's like, you're dying. She's like, you're tú eres muertos or something like that. She's like, you're dying. I can tell you're dying. I think it's like, I don't have time to put, like they said earlier, I don't have time to take care of boo-boos and call you a baby. It's like, there's no time left. I'm fucking dying. Like, come on, we've got to go. Like, I can't sit here and baby you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, and that also goes back to Shane as well. Once a man's killed, he's got to live with the killing, that branding. Go and you tell your mom, then there's no more guns in the valley. I think that's totally what that's alluding to. Like, I get what they're saying. Like, a murder or a death and killing is, I mean, ultimately you can call it whatever you want, but at the end, the action is still the same. Like, you've taken the life of somebody for good or for bad, but you still have to be...
It's a black stain in your life.
Right. But I'm like, dude, she's killed like 80 people. What the fuck are you talking about? I think she gets it. I think she maybe has a little bit easier of a time differentiating people who probably did horrible shit to her for the last 11 years. She's like, no, I got no problem putting my fucking fist in the back of that guy's skull. Like, that's a little bit different.
It's also this thing about like Logan being a father figure to her as well, and trying to make it easier for her somehow.
Well, yeah, and I mean that also goes into the thing, what he goes into at the end of, he doesn't want her to be him. He doesn't want her to be the Weapon X. Like, he doesn't want her to have to deal with all of that. Like, it's 10 years and she's already had to deal with this. Whereas Logan, he was alive for like, 100 years probably before he got his claws, like the adamantium like claws. He's born in like 1830, 1840, and he gets those in like Vietnam. So it's like he lived for a long time before he did this shit. So I think he's like, listen, you're going to have to live probably longer than I am, or depending on what they've made your claws out of now, is that you're going to live longer than me. It's like, or just as long. So you're going to have to deal with this shit, and you're going to have to realize what it is to really like kill somebody and be okay with that. But yeah, Logan goes back to sleep and wakes up after 2 days with the children shaving his beard into classic Wolverine.
Love it.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. The visual gag of all of them pulling something in pulling something in a frame or like out of frame while the frame sits still is fucking, that gets me every time. It's hilarious. Yeah, that is not funny. I fucking love that. The little kid. I'm not sure which one he is. He's a short, chubby black kid. He reminds me of the one off Hook. I can't remember what the fuck that kid's name is. But I think he's actually playing with a Wolverine, like toy, like a blue and yellow, like classic Wolverine.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely got it in the funeral scene later.
Yeah, I had one of those as a kid. I fucking loved it. Richter talks on the radio with someone over the border and offers Logan the money, which he declines. There's actually in the credits of this movie, it says something like special thanks to Alpha Flight. From what I was reading, something like that. Alpha Flight is the Canadian version of like X-Men, basically. So I was like, oh, I wonder if they're talking to somebody who's, because you got to think, yes, in the USA, you made these products and you ship them out, but that doesn't mean that there's not as many mutants in Canada. Like, I can see Canada not doing that, being more natural about the product and shit. Fucking Canadians.
Apparently, Captain Marvel is currently in the Alpha Flight team in the comic book run. I don't know if that's. I mean, like, because I still listen to Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith and stuff. Like, and they get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they get to talking about it a little bit, and I heard that recently. But yeah, it's not really my jam.
He's got to change that Fat Man shit, dude. He's lost a lot of weight. Good on Kevin Smith, man. That's awesome.
He did. So, they talked about it. It used to be called Fat Man on Batman, but it's like Fat Man Beyond because we're beyond Fat Man now.
Okay, good. Because I know that means a lot to him. So I'm very proud of Kevin Smith for whatever that's worth.
Man. Fucking me too.
But that night, Laura and Logan end up fighting, with Logan explaining, bad shit happens to people I care about. Laura says, then I'll be fine. Oh, that's good. That's the gist of this conversation. But this whole thing, which we read off at the beginning, I suck at this. I'm no good, and I'm fucking, I'm going to the first bar when I get out of here. And it's so much better this way if you just leave it alone. And like, that's the saddest part about it, is not even the bad shit happens to people I care about. I mean, that's going to happen regardless. But when he looks at her and he's like, it is better this way. It's like, oh, dude, he has said that so many fucking times to himself in his life. Like, it makes me think of this great movie that I love called Man from Earth. And it's about a guy who lives like 40,000 years, and he has families, and he watches his children die, and like, it's fucked up. Like they're part where where he's like reconciling with all that. And it's like, dude, it's so much better this way if I just leave and just don't be a part of this anymore. It's kind of like Benjamin Button, when he's like, see ya, and he just pieces out like towards the end of the movie. I'm like, I don't blame you, dude, because it is so much better this way. Like, oh, it's fucking heartbreaking though.
It is. Dude, something that always gets me is such a nice man.
She always gets me, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, she ends up walking out. Logan goes back to sleep. I love the fact that he's just knocked out for like 4 days by the end of this movie. He's like, dude, I gotta rest, man. The next morning, the children leave for the border, and Logan wakes up to a note telling him not to take all of the serum that they've left for him at once. He wakes up, he sees the drones coming after the children, and takes off. In the forest, the children are hunted down. Realizing that he'll never catch back up, Logan takes the entirety of the serum. Oh, man. I love seeing Pierce and his guys racking up with rice and shit. It's getting big when, like, your manager is actually on the site, like,
right, right,
it's
exactly.
like, all right, this is kind of
handle this shit myself. Yeah,
right, yeah.
There's an awesome shot. I'm not sure if you've got that, if we're there yet, but it's Logan running through it's this aerial shot. It's Logan running through the fucking trees, and then like in the background you can see the convoy. It's all in one shot.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, as he breaks to go and get the kids. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, especially seeing him like run up that hill and trying to make it. It's like, man, this is just, he's in such bad shape. Like, I mean, Logan, dude, that guy is fucking beasting up that hill. No pun intended. Like, there's that should be so easy for him, but he can't even imagine taking a bullet. This guy can't even run up a fucking hill right now. You're like, holy shit. But yeah, he takes the entirety of this medicine. Oh, dude, there's no coming back once that needle drops. Nope, it's over. It's done. I think I started getting the feeling that Logan's going to die, because I'm like, he's pale, he's covered in blood, he's taken all the serum. Like, oh, it's rough, man. The children are hunted down, realizing they'll never catch back up. He takes the serum. The children run and use their powers, and Logan goes berserker on Pierce's men. I love all the kids. We see the plant girl. She's actually Dafne Keen's stunt double. And James Mangold was like, I loved her so much, we just put her in the movie. We wrote a non-speaking
awesome.
role and gave her a fucking power and just let her go crazy. But
Dude,
we see what...
I gotta mention, it sucks that we don't know his name because we keep calling him this, but the chubby black kid running, like, man, I'm like, that was me at every fucking school fucking cross country carnival athletic shit. That is literally me in the 100-meter dash.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I wasn't much better. I'm like a boulder with legs. Like, I can't run with this shit.
But this kid is fucking booking it.
Oh, dude. And I love what he's the electric kid. We've got Plant Girl, we've got the Ice Breath woman, we've got Richter.
Fish Boy.
Yeah, we got Fish Boy. Richter can control like seismic activity. Apparently, he's based off of someone called Avalanche. Like from what I was reading off. But yeah, and the shot of Logan, like you can hear him in the background and then they cut to just that empty shot of the forest, and it's just the fog rolling over the trees and the pines, and you're like, dude, he's coming for that ass. Like, he's just booking it through there, and just that the scream of him out in the distance somewhere is fucking scary. You're like, oh shit, like this motherfucker's about to rain down on us. And I love that. I love the like the forebodingness of it, I think. Yeah, he comes running up. I love all these deaths at the kids. Freezes the guy's arm, breaks it off, and she rips one of those guys into pieces with like the pine needles and shit. You're like, oh my fucking god. And yeah, if Logan goes fucking ape shit on these guys, so cool. Just a great nonstop shot of just him sawing through these motherfuckers. Because as he comes running up, one of these guys, I think one of the guys literally says, "Oh, it's Wolverine. He's on your left flank," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome to actually hear somebody be like, oh, that's fucking Wolverine." Like,
does he say that? I didn't hear him. I didn't hear that.
I think so. I might be making shit up, but I swear to God, I fucking heard it at one point. Just, God damn it, let me live my lie.
Shut up. We don't lie around here, all right?
He's mobbing his way through these guys, the double fist pump into the guy's chest, and then he pulls out and just that, like, oh, that's so great. Like, that's some fucking primo vintage, finely distilled, ancient bottled Wolverine. You're like,
right.
Ah.
And let's not forget, this is what fans have been waiting to see for a very long time. Like, we've got teasers of this in other X-Men movies, but you don't really get this. You don't really get this in any other X-Men movie but this. You get little glimpses, but this is just the unleashed shit. It's awesome.
Right, yeah, it actually makes me think of that like Jet Li movie back in the day. Was it Unleashed or something? Like that kind of just that primitive, just fucking letting motherfuckers go is so awesome. And yeah, this is where we get this confrontation between Rice and Logan, right? What did you think about this? How this whole thing goes down?
I love this, man, because I was like, oh no, he's gonna start monologuing. Literally, all you get is like probably maximum 30 seconds before fucking Rice gets blasted away.
Yeah, and especially him, he's like, oh, my father was, what does he say? Whatever his father was.
Right. He says his father helped create Logan back at Alkali Lake. I thought for a second, oh shit, is this guy related to Stryker? But no.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what fucked me up at first too. I was like, are we talking about Stryker here? Yeah, I love, he's like, oh, my father was Dr. Alexander Rice. I believe you knew him from the Weapon X project. He's like, yeah, he's the asshole who put this poison in me. He's like, yes, I believe he was one of them. He's like,
yeah,
I'm
right.
pretty sure I killed him. He's like, yes, I think you're right. Because I've heard now either his dad was in the Wolverine, the James Mangold one, or somebody said it was X-Men Apocalypse, that whole scene with him escaping, which I'm not going to lie, that it's either X2 or if let's say we don't have Logan, my favorite Wolverine moments are probably going to be that scene in X2, where he goes crazy in the mansion, or his cameo in Apocalypse is fucking cool. Like, I love that. Like,
it's good.
I was a big fan of like the Weapon X like Wolverine when I was a kid. I had a toy of that. Like I remember being like, this is fucking really cool. And yeah, but either way, this is like you said, he's fucking monologuing, you know, talking about how they've been poisoning, or I guess for lack of a better term, poisoning like the food supply and the you know, all these drinks and stuff. Random mutancy went the way of polio. We embarked on our next endeavor, growing your mutants of your own. Precisely.
I love Pierce. Pierce is just like, why don't you show him some respect? He wiped out your kind.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? Like either way you spin that sentence, it's not. It doesn't really make sense. Yeah, so he fucking shoots. He shoots Rice. He ends up capping Pierce in the hand. I love all the kids springing action. You know, that one kid shocks the fucking thing. Laura runs up on those guys, and X-24 is unleashed. And this is when you're like, all right, you are double D fucked. Like, there's no way you're getting out of this.
I love how Pierce kind of like treats him as a dog, right? He's like, "Showtime, boy."
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, and my thing is like he's sitting there watching. You know, like all the kids are sneaking up on Pierce right now. But like my thing is this scene, you have to kind of hand wave with like movie time shit. 'Cause I'm like, where are the kids the whole time? Like Logan's whooping his ass with the fucking door. Because it takes like Pierce is just standing there like, yeah, come on, look, he did that. He killed Rice. Get him. And I'm like, dude, this seems like a lot of time people could be chipping in and whooping somebody's ass because like there's a lot on the line here. Like Laura has the right idea. She jumps right the fuck in and just goes ape shit. But those other kids, I'm like, yeah, anytime now, guys. Like Laura's over there whooping ass, and these kids are like drinking a fucking like Capri Sun.
I get the sense that Laura is a little more, a little bit more combative and a little more. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like because they say that they started training these kids to be soldiers, right? So it probably makes sense that not all of them would be fully trained, but. Yeah, I don't know. Like that is a good point. It is some movie bullshit. You got to let some stuff go.
Don't fucking defend it. Just don't fucking
fuck off,
defend
right?
it.
This is a perfect fucking movie.
I mean, it basically is. But yeah, I love this, especially once Logan is just kind of, you know, he's getting fucking annihilated, and the fact that that Laura steps right in, like no hesitation, and just starts going crazy. I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome, dude. And you know, her using the backcloth, the shot of her on top of his chest, just
oh my god,
that's fucking gorgeous. Pierce ends up shooting Logan in the leg with a harpoon gun. He starts pulling him in. The kids trap him up again. There's like 8 of you. 2 of you could do this, and the other 6 attack X-24. Like, for the love of God, somebody help him. Except for, and I complain about that until Richter steps in and he drops a fucking like a compound truck on him. You're like, God damn. But what did you think about Pierce's death? This like multi kill that they've got going on.
I like it. I mean, look, it's brief. It is brief. I would have liked to see Pierce go out in some crazier fashion, but I mean, like, this makes sense. Like, the kids kind of like get their own little justice. They get their own little moment against their captor, this guy who's been totally fucking suppressing them their entire lives. So it makes sense. It's poetic. It's you know, it's good. It feels a little anticlimactic for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, you kind of cut out there for a second. What did you say?
Oh no, I said it does feel a little anticlimactic for some reason. Maybe I just would like to see Pierce do a little bit more. I think maybe that was it. But
oh, okay.
I do like it. Like, I like that the kids get their little revenge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially, you know, at first you're kind of like, what's killing? You know, what exactly kills him? And then you see the neck just like pop. I'm like, right. Ooh, he's fucking dead. And yeah, this awesome, again, this battle continues with Logan and X-24. This whole time, like, you know, when the truck goes up and it lands on 24, I remember thinking, oh, please don't do the big CG battle. Please don't do the big CG battle. Like, I was like, if they're going to start throwing trucks and shit, I'm just like, oh no, please don't go this way. But it doesn't go that way. Like, thank fuck. Right, yeah, it's, you know, and that kid, like, even though these are kids, like, their powers are, I think that may be one reason why they have to team up to kill Pierce because it's like alone they can kill maybe one guy, like they can really fuck some shit up. But I don't know if they're as strong as Laura is or Richter. Richter seems like a little bit older, which actually Richter scale, he controls seismic waves. So it's like,
shut the fuck up.
It's kind of clever.
Shut up. Just shut up.
So yeah, the two battle back and forth with X-24 whooping that ass. The children kill men. Richter drops a truck. He drops a truck on 24, buying them time to escape. Logan holds back 24 as long as he can, but he is fucking impaled on a goddamn tree limb. Like, holy shit. This was not
brutal.
Oh man, seeing him getting scooped up and lifted like that was like, you can't do that. Like, I was like, you can't do that to Wolverine.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
Do you care about spoilers for Dark Phoenix?
Not really. Not if it's that bad.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, spoilers for Dark Phoenix. If you want to skip ahead 15 seconds or so, this Mystique goes out the same way that Logan does.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, because Dark Phoenix is kind of like losing her shit. She pushes her, and she kind of like gets impaled on like a tree branch or some shit, and she's dead.
Oh damn! I was hoping you'd say a clone of Wolverine comes out and impales her in Canada on a log. No,
that would have been a lot more exciting. Trust me, would have been a lot more exciting.
Well, I mean, the rampant asshole Marvel comic fans that are out there, they're like, the tree limb couldn't have pierced Wolverine's blah blah blah. And if you look, it actually goes straight through organs. Like it's like it misses his spine and back and shit completely. And I'm like, dude, he's dying. Just stop. Like, just stop.
Just shut the fuck up. Like I am one of those Marvel fans, but like, no, like I'm not that fucking rampant. I'm sorry.
Right. He gets impaled. Laura shoots 24 in the head and rushes over to Logan. God, this scene, Jesus Christ.
Man, Jesus Christ. Did you talk about how she loaded the adamantium bullet and shot 24?
Oh, yeah, I said she shot him in the head, but I guess with the adamantium bullet.
Yep,
Sorry, yeah,
yep.
that good pointing that out. That does. I mean, we had setup and payoff, so I should have said something about it.
Yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting that you're new around here, so I gotta.
Yeah. No, I'm just...
but dude, for me, a perfect way to end Logan's story, like just the final line that he gives. So this is what it feels like. Like that has a lot of meaning, man. Let's unpack that because, like, you've got the obvious one, right? This is what it feels like to die, to finally feel some kind of like ending, some kind of finality. Because don't forget, 250 years is a long time to be alive. And B, this is what it feels like to care about something. This is what it feels like to have a family, to have a blood. You know what I mean? Like to finally feel like you've accomplished something for someone that you care about. Because he didn't get to do it for Charles, but he got to do it for Laura.
Right, yeah. I think it, like you said, there's so many meetings in there. So this is what it's like to not be fighting. Like, I don't have to worry about anything anymore. I'm dying.
Right.
Like, don't be what they made you to be. Don't fight your whole life. He's like, now is probably one of the only moments in my life that I've ever been able to be like, now I'm done. Like, I can relax. And you also have the whole thing. Yes, this is what death literally physically feels like. I've always wondered what this felt like. And I'm sure there's moments where he was close, but not anything like what he's feeling now. And then the whole thing of, this is my family and this is what it feels like to, this is what it feels like to love somebody in this way. And my thing is like, my question is, does he love her at the end of this? Or does he just like, does he have the same love that a parent can have for a kid? Or does he just like, is it that emotional of a bond? Or is it just like, I love you, kid. I hope you do well. It's like he's innately protective of her, like that kind of love.
I think it's definitely the protection kind of love. Like, I think, as cynical as he does start, as he starts out in the start of the movie, like he develops a bond with her. He develops this kind of like friendship, this kind of like, it is to some extent a paternal thing. But I think that over the protection of it, like like trumps all of that, and it becomes like I want you to be something that I never was.
Right, and be something that I never had the opportunity to be.
Right.
Like I had to be this fucking thing. It's like, God damn, like that's fucking terrible. And yeah, I especially again that line, "Don't be what they made you." Like, oh, that's so good. Like, this is the shit I would have told myself.
This is the waterworks.
Right. This is the shit I would have told myself the second I escaped from Alkali. Like, if somebody was there to tell me that I didn't have to be this thing just because they wanted me to be. Yeah, and Laura mourns Logan, and he dies. Now, I do like this scene. It's good. I think that I think it's her saying "daddy" that I'm like, no, I check out. I'm like, no, I'm not buying. Like, she hasn't even ever said Logan. You know, if she'd have just said, please, Logan, no, Logan, or like Wolverine, or said something to like she's never said his name. She's never been that kind of like, or she just said, James, please don't, blah, blah, like call him by his true, like biblical name. I mean, even that would have meant more to me than just her saying daddy. Cause I'm like, dude, we don't really, if they'd added in just one more scene of like, maybe they get pulled over by a cop and the cop's like, is this your daughter? And he's like, yeah, like he's kind of like, yeah, she is my daughter. Like him kind of realizing like I don't know, it's kind of like saying to somebody, yes, this is my daughter. It kind of helps him believe it a little bit more, because I just don't think that there's enough set up for this payoff. I didn't feel the emotional weight of that hit, the whole daddy thing. I was like, they don't have a moment where, except for the dinner with the Munsons, there's never a moment between Laura and Logan where it's like, yeah, you're mine. Like I'll always be here to protect you, or any of this stuff. Like, it's a very tough love kind of relationship, but I just think we needed at least one or maybe two more scenes of seeing that bond be a little bit stronger for me to buy it. Saying something like daddy, because that's like a gut punch. That's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Like, it's like, oh, when it happens, it really hits you. So I don't know. I wish they would have built that up a little bit more, but it's not huge. Like, and I don't mind Dafne Keen right here. I think she's doing well, but if you're calling this person daddy and, you know, this is now your father that you're seeing die, like, I would like to see a little bit more. Like, she freaked out more when Charles died. And I'm like, I kind of want to see a little bit more right here, but it is good, especially for her age. Like, she does do damn good. And like, you kind of have to grade it on a curve a little bit, but even if it's an adult or a child, I still think she does a great job. But there's just, you know, there's a little something missing there for me. And I think what takes me out of her emotional reaction to this is the fact that I don't think that it's set up and paid off that well to earn this ending of her acknowledging him as her father. You know what I mean?
Right. I think I'm inclined to agree with you, because like, I definitely remember kind of feeling that way in the cinema first time I watched it. I was like, I don't know. It doesn't fully, like you're right. Like, I think this movie is long enough already. I don't want another additional scene or anything like that, but I think it doesn't sell like the fact, like, I buy that Logan has developed these protective feelings and like this kind of like connection with her, but I don't buy that she has come to accept Logan as her father, because she doesn't know that her genetic makeup is from Logan, does she?
I mean, I assume if they talked about it this much in the open, how is she not? I find it more likely that she would know that than she would have just somehow missed that information.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think I do agree with you. I think you probably gave the best example that you possibly could, because if you compare this to the Tony Stark Spidey relationship, that worked. That worked for me.
Yeah.
Like the father and son sort of like situation, because like, but look, like that also has the benefit of having two movies behind it where they could develop a relationship. So yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't break the movie for me or anything like that. It is a slight little annoyance, but I can look past it.
Right, exactly. I think we're in the same boat. We agree on that. Like, it could be improved, but it's not. As far as endings go, it's just that I think that with the fact that it's Logan finally dying, it's not like you can say anything here and you get away with it, but they do okay. They do fine. It's pretty well done.
It feels like it feels like fucking like at the bottom of the screen. It should come up achievement unlocked. Father.
Yeah. Laura mourns and the children bury Logan. And Laura recites the ending lines of Shane. There's no going back from it, right or wrong. It's a brand that sticks. There's no going back. Now you run on home to your mother and tell her everything's all right and there aren't any more guns in the valley. They all walk away, but before leaving the screen, Laura tips the wooden cross so it becomes an X. Because he was in the X-Men. Oh my God! You know what?
I like it. And the only reason I like it is because the X-Men were a thing in this universe. Like, she looked up to them. So if they didn't do the comic thing, if they didn't do all of that stuff, then I'd be annoyed. I'd be like, oh, this is bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? But because the X-Men are a legendary mythology in this world, then I like it.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's a little cheesy, but it's okay. This is a superhero comic book film, right? So we gotta end with a little bit of that, Right. But yeah, that's fucking Logan, man.
That's Logan.
Let's jump into some listener comments, do some final thoughts, and get the fuck out of here.
We had some good ones for this one, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I tell you what, do you want to take Patrick? You want me to?
You can take Patrick, man. Like, Patrick, fucking, he even he even like
fucking champ.
I know, he even posted like a fucking pre-comment. He's like, "Fuck yes, be prepared for a novel of a comment." And I'm just like, we await. Full stop.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm always excited to hear what Patrick's. Patrick Harrington of Married People Watch Movies, which he does with his wife Barb. Please check him out. Rate and review him on iTunes, blah, 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 all that other stuff. I love their polls. I love doing their polls when they come up. This is, bar none, the greatest comic book movie that's ever been released. Jackman and Stewart perform brilliantly as grizzled old guys who have to live with everything they've done with their past and realize they're almost at the end of the road. I love that they watch Shane during the movie because this is the modern retelling of an excellent Western. The old gunslinger Logan gets caught up in one last ride and it brings him to his end. Not gonna lie, when Laura cried out "Daddy" at Logan, I fucking cried like a baby in the theater. Well, that makes one of
shit all over that
makes
shit as
one
well.
of us, Patrick. This is everything a movie about Wolverine should be, and I could watch this on an endless loop. 11 out of 10, so fucking great. Great comment. And he continues, also, the supporting cast is excellent. Stephen Merchant, Boyd Holbrook, Eric LaSalle, and the unsung MVP has to be Dafne Keen as Laura. She's such a ball of fury and claws. She can go from rage to vulnerable and is utterly fantastic. Can't wait to hear what you guys say. I love this movie, and I am pumped. Thank you, Patrick. Awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking, Patrick, in your head, imagine the Drake gif of them like, ooh, like fucking clapping and like, like that look. But no, hit us with what you got. The one from Daniel Fauch?
Yeah, I got one from Daniel Fauch. Thanks for commenting, Daniel. Not a fan of comic book movies or the X-Men series, but this one was one of the best movies in the last 5 years. The Western feel of the story and the focus on loss of mental control of Professor Xavier was fantastic. The pursuit of these old men who sacrificed it all for the last time to save the new generation was a perfect way to close out a series of movies. The world wasn't at stake, just the future of some kids, and that is enough. Yeah,
Great.
Man. I love it. I love the personal stakes in this movie. Like, I love that it's not fucking X-Men apocalypse where the whole world is just coming to an end. It's just like this guy, I got to get you from A to B, and not die doing it. But yeah, who you got?
No, yeah, I love it. I tell you what, I'll take Jessica Vizina Martin, the hostess with the mostest over at LSG Media. If you guys want to check that out, they've got great Hawkins report. They're doing one on Chernobyl right now.
By the way, they covered Logan. So on that episode, Jessica was actually on that episode with Dean and Matthew. And that episode is fantastic. So definitely go check that out.
Yeah, I forgot. I need to check that shit out. I don't know. I might need a Logan purge. I've been doing nothing but like watching, reading, breathing Logan for like a week. But she says this movie is fantastic and something you could recommend to a non-comic person. Very true. It isn't a good comic book movie. It's a fantastic movie, period. So emotional and great work from Jackman. A perfect goodbye to Wolverine. Couldn't have said it any better myself. I totally agree with all that.
Fuck yeah. And last but not least, from the fantastic Floyd Fry, check out his podcast, The Pop List. He appeared on our podcast. We covered Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, and Fury Road back to back with him. So thank you so much for joining us for that, Floyd. And thank you for commenting on this. Here's his comment. There's a select few, quote, comic book movies that allow you to put on your beret and declare them a film. Logan is one of these. It's an artistic endeavor trying to say more than, quote, follow this story to the next chapter so we can sell tickets. It falls in with the likes of The Watchmen, Unbreakable, and to somewhat of a lesser degree, the Nolan Batman series. It's an unrealistic concept that takes itself so serious that you 100% buy into it, and in turn, and most importantly, you care for the characters and their eventual outcome. It's an all-timer. Hell yeah.
Ooh. So well done.
Done.
I can hear him reading that. I can hear it so well.
That beautiful fucking accent. I love it.
I've listened to so much Pop List. I can hear his fucking voice.
Me too.
I also went on Floyd's show. We did a 3-parter episode about the Zodiac killer. That was a lot of fun, guys. Please go check his podcast out. It's fucking great. And make sure you guys go check out Pat and Barb over at Married People Watch Movies. Spread the love and check out LSG. You know, I got to check out Jessica and Dean and Matt and everybody over there.
Before we do go, we gotta circle back to our elephant in the room. X-Men in the MCU. Hit me. What do you think?
Okay, I'm cool with it. I know that even Jackman said at one point that if he'd have known Disney was buying it, he would have rethought like pulling out right now. I think that it might be high time for another cast, but the way they're doing with the Spider-Man Far From Home, and we're talking about multiple dimensions, I wouldn't mind at least a cameo from Jackman. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really cool to see him maybe pop up and something along the lines of that. But they'll probably recast it. They'll reboot it. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'll be excited either way. You know, it's a character that we can't possibly keep down now, and that they won't it's like Marvel's Batman to an extent, you know, like the Solo film that has done it so well. And I think that DC has The Dark Knight, Marvel has like Logan. And don't get me wrong, Avengers and Infinity War and Endgame and all that stuff's great, but this is on a whole other level from that. And I think that while those are great movies, like this is a great film. And not to take anything away from them, I think those are extremely good movies. But this one is, it's got the R rating. It's geared, I think, for people who don't want just action per minute, like kind of thing. And like I said, it's not an end of the world story. It's small stakes. And I think that this will go down as like the way to do and the R-rated superhero films when they start flocking out, which I really, really hope that they do. And I just want to see an Avengers versus X-Men movie. That's all I care about. That's like of them buying all of this stuff. I mean, it's great. They're going to get Fantastic Four and all that shit back, and that's fine. But ultimately, I really, really, really hope they just, even if it's animated, give me like an animated Avengers versus X-Men movie. Give me an R-rated X-Men movie, like a straight R-rated one. I'd love to see that. I'd really love to see Cyclops like melting some fucker's head off, like some Brightburn shit. But all in all, I'm excited for it. I just want to see what they do with it and maybe do something unique and original, which Hollywood is oh so prone to do. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Look, man, I'm excited. I want to give it a few years. Like I'm a little Fair. Burnt out, especially after Dark Phoenix. I need to wash that shit out of my mouth. Just give me some time before you start introducing the X-Men into the MCU. I think it actually is going to be a few years, from what I'm hearing, like in terms of rumors and shit. I don't really like talking rumors. I did hear one theory though, that was actually kind of interesting, and I don't like delving into fan theories, but in Endgame, spoilers for Endgame, in Endgame you like Rocket tells you that when Thanos did the snap, it kind of like sent off like a radiation kind of like spike or some kind of like some kind of like gene altering thing. So to have to have mutants come from that, like that's kind of like a decent way to enter it, right? Like to bring it in, I think. But then you've also got the issue of, well, these mutants were created in like what, the last fucking year? So yeah, I don't know, but like I'm sure I trust Kevin Feige and the guys over at MC at Marvel Studios, like, because like they haven't given me any reason not to trust them, so I'm stoked for whatever they do, to be honest. Like, I'll be there.
Right. Well, Kevin Feige even says they're revealed the discussions currently aren't happening in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Somebody asked him, introducing the mutants into the franchise, as they've been tying the various parts of the comic book universe together with a lot of success for 10 years now. You're right. It's not too far out to talk about whether it will happen or not. We're not working on it in any way, shape, or form. We've got 5 films on the docket. We've already announced that we're taking a big percent of our time, but I will say that your very good question, that if you look back at the phase 1 after Iron Man was released and we announced our upcoming films, one of which was Thor, people said, how in the world could you bring in a Norse god who flies with a hammer into the world you've established with Tony Stark and Stark Industries? So yeah, they've got the reputation. I think they'll do it fine. I just still do some R-rated ones, man. Like, come on. Like, this is the feather.
It's tough because it's Disney.
Yeah, well, it's like, dude, this is the feather in your cap for your X-Men films. Yeah. And it's like, and Deadpool as well. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I just hope they don't fuck that up. But
well, Disney now own Hulu. And I think they did say that they're going to keep Deadpool R-rated, and they're going to move it over to Hulu. Like, that's cool. That's something I
love Hulu.
We don't have it. We don't have it here. Fuck you. But anyway, yeah.
I tell you, I'll go with my closing thoughts.
Sure.
I love this movie. There's not a whole lot of complaints about it. I would say it's right at a 10. Anything less, and I think it'd be like a 9.5 for me, just because of like Dafne Keen's kind of emotion and things. But the fact that this has got I think that Hugh Jackman in this is just uncomparable to most stuff, especially to most. But it's kind of hard to compare him to anything when most of these actors haven't been given a chance like he has to do this kind of character. Do the same character for fucking 17 years, knock it out of the park. You started it, you ended it, and that's that. And nobody else has been given that kind of opportunity. And, you know, he had to take a huge pay cut for this. Like, he got paid $20 million for Origins, and then he got paid $20 million for the Wolverine. So, like, holy shit. Like, in his time, he has made, god damn. I'm sure Downey's getting a bigger payday from Iron Man, but still, Jackman's fucking, Jesus, $40 million for making 2 movies. So, like you said, I hope they do a rest after this and just give it a little bit of time. It was kind of like seeing Jared Leto as the Joker and Ben Affleck as Batman, you know, just like not even, 5 years later, and people are like, this is okay. So I think everybody kind of needs a breather. We've just wrapped up with Endgame and we're closing out that phase of the MCU. So I just, looking forward, I hope they do it right. I hope they do it justice, and I hope they take their time. But I think that James Mangold did an absolutely great job with this, especially I didn't really know him from anything else. I know he actually directed Walk the Line, so that's where there's a few Johnny Cash songs thrown in there. But I need to check out more of his stuff. But this movie is very like Last of Us. It's very Fallout New Vegas. It's very Blade Runner. And I mean, those are quite possibly some of my favorite things in the world, except for Last of Us, which I'm sure I'm going to get sucked into, and that comes on Xbox. But all in all, I love this movie. I don't really have a whole lot of flaws with it as a plot. There's not really anything as a plot that drives me crazy about it. You could argue, why the fuck do they have to hunt down Laura if they already have X-24? And it's like, well, you don't want loose ends running around. You know, they're going to go start a colony and start a fucking mutant colony and come back and kick all of our asses. But other than that, I mean, what's to say about this movie that hasn't been said in this 3-hour-long podcast we just did? I love it. There's very little wrong with it, and I hope that people use this as a template for how to do more R-rated superhero films in the future.
Hell yeah, man! You hit the nail on the head, as I like to say. I think this is one of the best movies out there in terms of giving a series closure and finality. I think I didn't feel how I felt about this movie until Endgame. And I know that's only 2 years, but still, like, it feels like, and for me to compare this movie to Endgame, like that, I loved Endgame, and I loved like the closure it gave to Iron Man and Captain America. And this, it feels like that. Like, it felt like we've just closed a chapter and we've closed it perfectly. We couldn't have done it any better. You can feel the love that James Mangold has for this character. You feel the love that Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart have for each of their characters. You can just feel that they want to do this justice, and it plays on screen as perfectly as it does. The acting in this movie should not be understated. Like the moments that they're given to shine, like Stewart and I was about to say fucking McKellen. Stewart and Jackman, man, fucking absolutely knock it out of the park. Dafne Keen, also awesome, dude. This movie's just visually striking. It's just always a great watch, man. Like I wish that this movie was the end of the X-Men franchise, but no, we got the Dark Phoenix, didn't we? So fuck it. Yeah, really, really, really glad to have covered this movie, man. Really top notch. One of the greatest fucking superhero films of all time. If you wanna reduce it to its basest element, that it is a superhero movie, then fine. One of the best fucking superhero movies of all time. I've seen this compared to The Dark Knight. I think yes. I think it. I don't think it surpasses it. I think it stands shoulder to shoulder with it. I think like you said, definitely are two separate movies. I think Nolan had a lot more to juggle than Logan does. But I think this definitely stands up there to The Dark Knight as one of the greatest films of all time and one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
Well, hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I just, let's see what they do from here. I hope they start getting into some more animated stuff. Like DC's been cranking out their animated shit, which is great. They're fucking really, really good movies.
It's fucking cartoon. It's kid shit. Fuck it.
Fuck it, dude. I love them. I fucking love them. Especially Red Hood or the Dark Knight Returns. So fucking good. Superman Doomsday is another good one. But guys, if you want to check us out after you're done listening to this episode, you can find us on Instagram at Midnight Double Feature, on Facebook at Midnight Double Feature. We also have the group called The After Party. It's 3 words. Everybody's invited. You can come, jump in, leave us comments like you've heard read off on here. That's where we also post news, anything exciting that's been going on, and our episodes are about to be coming up. You can also find us on Twitter at MDF Pod, or if you want to shoot us an email, let us know how we're doing. Complaints, grievances, questions, concerns. That's at midnightdoublefuture@gmail.com. And stop by, rate and review us on iTunes. Make sure it's 5 stars, or I'll monkey crawl my way through the hotel and stab you in the back of the neck. Yeah, stop at rate and review us. If you're going to say something negative, fucking at least let us know what it is first. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Always love criticism, especially constructive. That always actually helps out. And we've been lucky. The little bit of negative feedback we've gotten has been very constructive. And it's like, oh, yeah, we do that. But no, guys, thank you so much for listening. Zoheb, bid these people adieu.
Thank you for joining us, guys. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you guys so much. We will hit you guys up next time. Goodbye.